There are no clean hands in this game, but there are dirty, dirty secrets. Ladies, gentlemen, and variations thereupon, this is Modern Escapism. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Oodles, the hero of podcasting. Joining me today, the man in the chair and unsung hero of editing, is Gadget.
Hello. Clicky, clicky.
My little sidekick and boy wonder of the show, it's Stig.
Gee willikers, Oodles!
The femme fatale and anti-hero, angel in devil's clothing, it's Candy.
Oh, I like that. Extra
And
satanic.
finally, we call him Spider-Man, but not for his amazing ability, for the fact that he struggles to get out of the bath. It's Biggie!
My penis is tingling.
Oh, no.
We're all here, as one. Look at this. Who'd have thunk it?
So
Well,
All
unusual.
of us.
It's weird. How's everyone doing?
I'm doing marvellously.
Don't all
Doing up.
jump at once.
I'm doing older.
I want to make an apology. I've been thinking about this.
Go on.
From last week. People might tell me different, but it's just how I feel. I just want to apologise for my review section. I thought it was a bit shit. I forgot what I'd done, didn't come prepared, and then I started getting a ranty about other things and not actually talking about the show. So I just thought afterwards, I was like, that was a bit shit, wasn't it?
So when,
I'm glad
that was
you
when you were on
said it.
the Acolyte, yeah?
Yeah, it just kind of annoyed. Like, I got caught up in.
I didn't even think you scarred it either.
No, I got caught up in the Bell Ends Online doing my editing and ruining stuff that people enjoy.
I get caught
that's
with Ellen's
natural.
online, but different ones.
Yeah, and then I just thought afterwards, I didn't really review that. I just ranted about people online. Anyway, the show's fine. Episode 3 was shit, but not for the reasons that trolls are going on about. But yeah,
I don't
know.
Thanks for
I
your
just felt like
apology,
afterwards I was a bit like, that was a bit crap.
I don't know if you saw kind of tangentially related to that, but before we get into any the whole thing that trolls do where they review bomb things, have you seen that they're so idiotic at the minute that they are now just trolling everything called Acolyte, not Star Wars Acolyte? So there's been like review bombs on like films from the early 2000s called The Acolyte and shit like that.
What about people of the church? Like people who are actually acolytes?
I don't know. They're kicking off about the boys now, aren't they? Because media literacy is dead and they can't understand the boys. Has always been taking the piss out of them.
More on that later.
More on that
Yeah.
later.
More on that
But yeah,
later.
I don't know. I just, you know what I mean? Sometimes you ever come away from a podcast, you just think, that was a bit shit then. And,
Yeah, usually every week.
yeah, but we don't like to tell you.
Rude.
I don't know. Just felt
Thanks for
a bit-
your frank and heartfelt apology, Stig. But it's now time for a different apology because it's time for Biggie's breaking news.
You may already know, but he doesn't, because it's time for Biggie's Breaking News.
You've got to hold and give, but do it for the view. You can be slow or fast, but you must read the news. They'll always hit you and hurt you. Defend and attack. There's only one way to update them. Give them all the facts. Catch me if you can, cause I'm the big cup man. And what you're looking at is the master plan. We ain't no hooligans, this ain't a football song. Modern escapism on my chest, I know we can't go wrong. We're using for England, England. We're playing the song. We're using for England, England. And Reaver Dirty, it's 101.
This might be the first time I entirely censor a news song.
Wow.
John Barnes has a lot to answer
yeah,
for.
He's spinning in his grave that he's not in yet.
Was it World in Motion, that song?
Yes,
It was.
World in Motion.
Hell.
Well done, you.
You couldn't escape that song when it first came out, even as
No,
children.
you can't. And it still gets played now.
Yes, it does. News. Me.
Yes, we're not here
Baby.
about the football. There was a Nintendo Direct this very evening, but I don't have a Switch or am interested, so I'm happy to just mention some stuff that got shown, and then you guys can comment on it that do give a fuck.
I tell you what, Biggie, shall I just run through it, because you found out about this about 2 minutes before we started recording.
Yeah.
That's what you get on this podcast. Honesty. You don't give a shit.
You think the newsman would be up to date with his news, wouldn't you? But
No.
You would think
Can't
so.
do it all.
So what did they announce? They announced a new Mario and Luigi game called Brothership.
They did.
It's got cel-shaded graphics, kind of isometric camera angle, platforming, combat. Yeah, it looks fun.
Yeah.
I
I found the graphics a bit weird though in my eyes. To my eyes, I was like, "Ooh,
it's a nice art style, but not one that we've had with a Mario game. But then again,
it's a bit off-putting." But they always grow on you, don't they?
the Paper Mario games have a very different art style, and they're
Yeah,
charming
yeah.
as all
Yeah.
fuck.
I think it looks cute.
Mario Wonder had a different art style.
It
I've
did,
never
yeah.
played it.
It's good if it works.
Couple of oodlesy games, Fairy Tale 2, which I think is a it looks like it's a tactics game, I think, or a fighting game.
Heard of it? I've never heard of the first one.
And then Fantasia Neo Dimension, which is from the creator of Final
Got
Fantasy.
that.
I think that's the one that was on phones.
Apple Arcade, yeah.
Yeah.
Beat it already.
One for Candy and possibly for Acid Pearl. Hello Kitty Island Adventure. Looks pretty much like Animal Crossing, but with a Hello Kitty veneer to it.
I'm not going to go down that hole.
Well, you need to buy a Switch first.
Yeah.
My daughter would.
Looney Tunes Wacky World of Sports. If you ever wanted a sports game from the Looney Tunes.
Space
Sure.
Jam.
Oh, it's about 20 years too late, isn't it?
Update to Among Us with new crewmate roles, which I'm not really sure if anyone still plays that anymore.
I didn't know there were roles in that. I thought you just run around and pretend to not be a baddie.
I guess. We played
game
it
was
once during
so
the
much-
pandemic.
That game was so much fun during the pandemic, but it seems to have had its time. And
Yeah. Donkey Kong.
I remember when I accused Stick of being an imposter straight away. He got kicked
And it
out.
was.
I knew it
I was
wasn't him.
furious.
That's fun.
I think we streamed that, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
We did.
It's lost to time, unfortunately. Donkey Kong Country returns HD. For anyone who likes the Donkey Kong Country
I've
games.
never been excited about Donkey Kong games because I don't like any of them. I've never liked any of them.
Well, here's
I liked Donkey Kong Country 2 when you were Diddy Kong. That was really good. I think Tropical Freeze is overrated.
I liked it a
I've
lot.
just never been.
I don't
I
know
like
Wii U.
Tropical Freeze, but I don't think it's as good as. I don't think it's as amazing platformer that everyone makes out to be. It's fine. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't.
I got
blow me away.
Donkey Kong Country on SNES for Christmas, and I swapped it for Secret of Mana, which I believe was a better trade.
Probably. Music's great though. Music
Yeah.
in Donkey Kong Country's.
Oh yeah. I like the music in it. I've listened to the soundtrack. In isolation itself, it's good.
Now, Oodles, there's one here for you. Now, you know how your birthday month is November, and it's very rare that something is released that is specifically for you.
Thanks for remembering.
Yeah. Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake launches on the 14th of November 2024.
Be still my beating heart.
And it looks fucking gorgeous.
It's the Erdrick trilogy as well, which is one of my favourite trilogies in gaming. A lot of people won't know what I'm talking about, but it makes a lot of sense. It's a weird, because first, second, and third is part of the Erdrick trilogy, but it's so weird you can play them in any order.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
It's
Is this the? I don't want to get into spoilers.
You know who Erdrick is.
Is this that? After that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I might play it.
Yeah. You know who he is.
But it looks gorgeous. Unlike the Octopath games and a lot of other HD 2D games, it doesn't have that weird bokeh effect on it as well. So you can actually see
No,
all the
it doesn't.
graphics.
It's just perfectly pixelated, isn't it?
Yes. And then there's also the news that Dragon Quest 1 and 2 will be getting the HD 2D remakes and coming next year.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people in chat, fake gamers, saying, how come you released the third one first? It's the Erdrick trilogy. You can play it in any fucking order. Shut up. At least we're getting it. Grow up. Clearly never played them before.
Another one very specifically for Oodles, because I know he loves them, Funko Fusion.
Hey, I tell you what, did you see the Shaun of the Dead bit?
I did, yeah. It's a
You have to pretend to be
3D
zombies.
3D action adventure in Funko graphics, and it looks awful.
I loved Gears Pop. I fucking loved it.
You and dozens of others.
So Gears Pop is my favourite Gears of War game because it's the only one I've played. And it's brilliant. So it's this Funko thing. And I like a Funko. I don't care. I know people don't like them, but I like them. I'll play this.
Darkest Dungeon 2 is coming to the Switch next month, which is great.
It's
Good
fantastic. Game. It's a fantastic game.
The Nintendo Switch Online and Expansion Pack got some new games. So Zelda: A Link to the Past 4 Swords and Metroid Zero Mission go to the Game Boy Advance bit. And then Perfect Dark and Turok go to the N64 bit.
Oh, guys, emulate them. But that's nice. Nice additions. Nice additions if you don't want to emulate them.
Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. Clash
that
of the
looks good.
Superheroes.
Even though you can emulate it, that looks like a lovely little collection. That
It does, yeah.
See, it's even got Punisher on it.
The big one that no one expected, Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, where you play Zelda. And it's done in the style that they did the Link's Awakening remake in. So
it
it's
looks
very
fucking brilliant.
It's very cartoony, very colourful. Zelda has
puzzle
this
game.
Yeah, it's more of a puzzle one because Zelda has this thing called the Tri Wand in it, where you can basically duplicate or destroy things. So
or catch monsters.
So you're working your way around it, and you've got to save Link. It looks great.
So good.
It looks fantastic. I might even dust off my Switch to play that one.
It looks brilliant, and you know the quality is going to be insane, and it's going to be part of the. I love how people online are already talking about the mythos of Zelda now. Where does it fit into the canon? Who gives a fuck?
The Legend of Zelda canon is all over the place.
I agree with Rudolph on that from our Discord, though. They should have gone. They should call it Legend of Link, like
Zelda's Awakening
or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
just flipped it the other way around.
Wait, Zelda's not the main character that you play in the game?
Nope. Have you ever played one, mate?
Yes, I have.
Samus is a woman.
What? Fuck off.
No women in
Unplayable.
my games. Woke.
What?
Speaking of women in games, Lego Horizon Adventures got another trailer. Still looks good.
Looked better
Still
than
looks
the
fun.
initial. Looked better than the initial trailer I saw.
Yeah, it's a bit more gameplay in this one.
It's very different to the standard Lego games, though. It's a bit more strategy. There's some strategy in it.
Yeah, and there's like a little city building bit as well where you're going to build up your village. It looks
And
good.
again, this is a pro ginger-haired protagonist podcast.
Speaking
We
of
have to
Agreed.
support it.
Speaking of ginger-haired protagonists, Stray is coming to the Nintendo Switch in this winter.
That is a ginger-haired protagonist.
It is.
Agreed. And a fantastic game, but it doesn't look good on Switch. It didn't look good at all.
Oh, what a shame.
Yeah,
Graphics look shit.
low frame rate. Speaking of not looking good on the Switch, Tales of the Shire, a Lord of the Rings game.
Another one.
Yeah, according to Eurogamer, it's time to head to Middle-earth with a look at Tales of the Shire, a Lord of the Rings game. Here you'll start a life in the Shire, and it looks all right. It does not look all right. It looks terrible. It reminds me of... It's kind of looks like the first Fable game on the original Xbox. And I don't mean that in a good way.
It looks shit.
Just sometimes, just don't bother putting it on the Switch. Just put stuff on that the Switch can handle. Stop trying to
No, but
make
mate,
stuff fit. that
it's
doesn't
not even
fit.
the worst problem of this game. It's the fact that we've got Middle Earth license now. Do you know what people want? Hobbiton Simulator. No, they don't.
That's fine. I don't mind that. You could do all different kinds of games. This is one type of game. Then you can have a big war type of game. You can have a
It's not running well on the Switch.
strategy game. But like, just
Why have we never got an Elder Scrolls style Lord of the Rings game?
Yeah,
it'll
why
come.
not?
it'll
Is it
come.
the price? Do you reckon 'cause it costs too much?
Probably cost too much, yeah. They're all made by the lowest bidder. Last two I'm going to bring up, Ace Attorney Investigations Collection. It's come out, which everyone kind of expected, but it's a collection of the non-Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney games.
And the
Including
ones
one-
that we've
oh,
never
it's fun.
got.
Yeah,
over
including
here.
one that was previously exclusive to Japan, so that'll be good.
Objection!
Yeah, anyone who likes those kind of games.
Sustained.
I did play the first Phoenix Wright on the DS. That was
Good.
great.
I played it and then I finished the game, and then there's like one final mission, isn't there, at the end?
Yeah.
It's something
Yeah.
to like something about a ghost, and I was like, I
Yeah.
can't be asked anymore.
Yeah.
It's good games.
And the last one I'm going to talk about, which was the big surprise that no one was expecting, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond has finally been confirmed with some gameplay footage.
I genuinely thought this was
going to be a Switch 2.
A Switch 2.
It definitely is, mate. Look at it.
No, it's not. It's going to be a Switch release, and then when the Switch 2 launches,
the proper
they'll release
version
it again as Metroid Prime 4 Beyond Deluxe.
Yeah, it'll be a cross-gen game, but it looks good. I don't buy that it's running on a Switch, though, because the trailer's running at 60 frames a second, and it looks very good, but who knows?
Metroid 4 Beyond the original Switch.
I don't know. I'm watching the trailer now. I'm not like... I feel like...
It's very Nintendo looking, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't feel like...
It's not
doing
fucking
anything,
Halo, is it?
I don't feel like it's doing anything better or new than other FPS.
None of the Prime games did anything really different, apart from the first one when it first came out. But the two after that, they were just like, oh yeah, more.
As long as the shooting's good, there's story and the levels are good, then that's...
Remember, it's lock-on shooting. It's a weird thing. It's not a
that's
point and aim.
I enjoy. I emulated the first Prime game when I got my Steam Deck, and I enjoyed it. But that lock-on, I had to mod it so I could do like free aim because that lock-on shooting was pissing me off.
Yeah, it is a weird one, but it was designed for GameCube.
It was designed for the GameCube controller.
Yeah, it's like when you go and play GoldenEye, you need to put modern controllers in. If you try and play it in the original like control setup, it's terrible.
They'll never do a fully FPS shooter thing for Metroid because it still has to have that Metroidvania style, scanning stuff, getting new abilities, turning into balls, and all. They'll never do that. So the lock-on controls, it works. Remember, people be playing this mainly handheld. It works.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say, which is Kurt brought up in our Discord, that there's definitely going to be no Silk Song this year. We've had all three big companies.
I don't think anyone were expecting it, were they?
There's still some slight hope because there's Gamescom in August, September, somewhere around there.
Nah,
happen, mate.
There's still a load of releases there, so that's our last chance. If it's not there, it ain't coming this year.
I feel like Gamescom. It's not usually about reveals, though, is it? It's more about it's more about gameplay. Yeah, gameplay of things that have been previously released, and people
which is what this would be.
Yeah, but then
I've never watched one live at Gamescom.
Yes, you have. We streamed it, you dickhead.
Did we?
Yes.
He doesn't remember these things.
It's the secondary Jeff Fest because Jeff always does the opening night live.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
Jeff does Germany.
Actually, the only other potential is the Games Award.
Oh yeah, it could be, but that would mean it would be coming
so he
next
does it
year.
3 times a year, Jeff. Now.
Yeah. We're triple Jeffing.
Fuck.
Game Awards is December, so yes, that will be the end of the year. So
Mr.
They could
Just out of
they
interest,
dropped it and said, right, it's out tomorrow. It's
nice.
ready, and that's
just out of interest with the. Don't take this the wrong way. With Silk Songs, it's very, very pretty. Not Silk Song, sorry. Hollow Knight is a very pretty game, but with it being sort of basic as well, why do you think there's such a delay with this? 'Cause I can't imagine.
Because there's 6 people working for the company.
6 people, yeah.
Is that all it is? It's literally a small
the original
team.
took ages. We just didn't know it existed.
The original took like 6 years to develop, and that was with 3
we just
people
didn't know
working
it
for the
existed,
company.
did we?
They've since doubled their numbers, and it's taking just as long.
and they need to make a game that isn't just basically Hollow Knight
Rehash.
with a different skin.
Yeah,
Because they haven't.
They've made a
released
lot
updates
of
or
money
anything,
on
have they?
Hollow. They made a lot of money on Hollow Knight, so they'll be able to rest on it.
yeah. They also need to
Rest
top
it too
Hollow
long.
Knight. Like they can't just put the same thing out, like Stig says. So they need to be able to like outdo it somehow.
And Harnett, the main character in Silksong, is like the fan favorite character anyway. So it's like the debut game of Harnett. It's like we've got to do this right, or else we've just lost this franchise.
Yeah, she has such
There's
a
a lot
unique
of
move.
pressure.
She has a unique move set as well. So
Yeah.
sure.
That's it.
So
There you go.
we've had all
Hollow
3.
Knight.
I would say I think Xbox is best, then Nintendo, and then Sony.
Nope.
Yeah, Nintendo absolutely outperforms Sony.
Nintendo, Xbox, Sony. Sony. poor.
So Xbox is miles better than Nintendo.
You see all the
He was if
Sony
you're an
fans
Xbox fan.
backlash. Sony fans backlash about their showcase saying, "Look at Xbox,
shit.
look what they've done. We need this Sony."
Actual games.
Yeah,
Oh man, they got shite.
Actual exclusives as well.
Shite.
There's a handful of good Nintendo ones there, but nothing mind blowing. I think Dragon Quest I might be interested in, but it's £50 on Steam.
CD keys is a thing though.
See if I can get a CD key, or see if I can try and find a review code.
You get to review it, do you?
If you get a review code, Oodles will stab you in the eye.
Yeah, as if you get it. You don't even know anything about it.
Well, if you don't ask, you don't get. Get out there and ask.
I'll go out on the streets now.
Just do a biggie and start entering all the competitions.
No, it's selling your soul.
My pot of gold has run out at the moment.
Next.
Okay, well, Phil Spencer has all but confirmed plans for an Xbox portable console. Following Xbox's showcase, Phil Spencer sat down with IGN, where he was asked specifically about an Xbox handheld device and the company's mantra of going where the players are. And despite no Xbox handheld device being officially confirmed nor denied, Spencer agreed, "I think we should have a handheld." He said the future for us in hardware is pretty awesome, and the work that the team is doing around different form factors, different ways to play, I'm incredibly excited about. Today was about the games. We will have time to come out and talk more about platforms, and we can't wait to bring it to you.
That doesn't confirm one exists. It confirms they're looking at one, which is what any sensible business would do.
Doesn't Stig already own an Xbox console? Handheld?
Pretty much.
I think we all do. If we've all got a phone, we can play Xbox games.
I've played handheld Xbox games.
But, unless the price is right, you're better off just looking at a Steam, a Windows machine.
ROG Ally or Aya Neo.
Yeah, because that gives you Xbox, that gives you Game Pass and like access to everything else.
And Steam.
Yeah.
Unless they potentially made a really, really, like a dirt cheap £100 one just to get people on Game Pass.
No, won't.
But it won't run shit properly, would it? If
No.
you'd have to stream it, £100.
Well, that's what I mean. Is it just going to be like a streaming machine?
That's
just pointless, then, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think if they went all out, I think they'd create quite a good one, though. They've got the quality to do it.
It would, to match the power of an S or an X.
It's ridiculous.
It's going to cost
massive.
Cost a fortune.
Yeah, it would. It'd be £600.
At which point you might as well just get one that's got Windows or get a Steam Deck. But the only problem with Steam Deck is, again, there's no native software.
No.
You've just got to stream it, and it's a pain in the ass when it doesn't work, and you've got to set it all back up again. And yeah.
Never mind. Next.
What happened, in my opinion?
Nope.
Gaming giant Steam has been accused of ripping off 14 million UK gamers. The owner of Steam, the largest digital distribution platform for PC games in the world, is being sued for £656 million. Valve Corporation has been accused of using its market dominance to overcharge 14 million people. Valve is rigging the market and taking advantage of UK gamers, said digital rights campaigner Vicky Shotbolt, great name, who's bringing the case. The claim, which has been filed at the Competition Appeal Tribunal in London, accuses Valve of shutting out competition in the PC gaming market.
Does she work for Epic, by any chance? Because I'm not being funny, but the amount of money I've saved on games through Steam, like, I've never felt ripped off through Steam, ever.
Well, she goes on to say...
Go on, sorry. Carry on.
I was just going to say, she says Valve forces game publishers to sign up so-called price parity obligations, preventing titles being sold at cheaper prices on rival platforms. She says this has enabled Steam to charge an excessive commission of up to 30%, making UK consumers pay too much for purchasing PC games and add-on content. And according to VG Insights, it had record-breaking sales in 2023, generating over £9 billion, which is £7.1 billion in global revenue.
Right, my 2 pence now. I've got an issue with this, like, they're monopolising the no one's forcing anyone to buy computer games, right? So it's not like food. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what I'm getting at, but it's not like food. It's no one's being forced to spend all the money on Steam sales. You're choosing to get involved in it. And I've never met a person, like Stig says, that said, I'm being robbed by Steam. I've always seen Steam games as cheaper than anywhere else.
I think Epic's more of, they're more predatory, aren't they, Epic?
Yeah, and that is the other thing. You've got, there are...
GOG. You've got GOG, haven't you?
There are different launches, and some of them you have to go on to play games. Like, I had to play... if you want to play, sometimes you want to play EA games, you have to go through EA. Some games you have to go through Epic. you have to go through the Rockstar launcher to play Rockstar games.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel, Gadget, but I've never felt, even when I bought it at full price, I bought Baldur's Gate, it was £50 and that through Steam.
Yeah, it was
£70 on PlayStation.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, how am I being ripped off here if I'm paying less money?
So I've just looked up this Vicky Shotbolt because I'm very
She works for Epic, doesn't she? Come on.
CEO
She works for Epic, doesn't she?
She doesn't work for Epic, but she is the CEO of a company called the Parent Zone, which seems to we're working towards a safer digital world of opportunities for our children. She seems to be one of these pressure group people.
You shouldn't be letting
what's
kids
happened
on
is
Steam
her kid has bought a shitload of games on Steam through her credit card.
Oh,
why are you letting kids on your computer?
Their most recent blog post is from Vicky Shotbolt. It's called The Money Trap. A guest blog from Parent Zone CEO looks at child financial harms and financial literacy, as well as what we learned from parent-based focus groups. Parent-based focus groups. No. Nah. I've seen the news story about this, and this sounds like it's a single pressure group that are doing the suing.
Why do they never let me into these parent focus groups?
This just stinks of those people who cry when they they give their kid the card and the kid puts it into FIFA and spends 700 quid on FIFA points.
It reminds me of that.
You shouldn't have put your fucking card
you
details on
it without password. It reminds me of that meme of that old man and that old lady saying, we got robbed. It'd been on porn, and he's like, I don't know how I spent all this money on porn.
It's like, you want me, and just a look on his face like...
His face like, it was me.
It was you.
I mean, that's all... Like I say, it's ultimately the thing. Valve doesn't force you to have your product on Steam.
Nobody is forced to have computer games ever.
What all Valve asks is that you keep it the same. If you drop the price on your own platform or whatever, you drop it on Steam as well, so players have the choice at the same price.
But where's the competitive nature of that then?
And Valve is the better platform because they've had 20-something years of building a platform. Like Epic Game Store is shite. I tell you what, one of the worst experiences I had playing Alan Wake 2 was every time an achievement popped up, and it's this bright, chimey little sound that takes you out of the fucking horror game.
Yeah, it's fucking annoying, isn't it?
Like
I remember
you don't have friends list on Epic. You don't have chat. You don't have you can't do voice chat through it. You can on Steam. They have the platform for it.
I remember before I got a PC and Epic launched, and then other launches launched, and I was like, "Gives a fuck? They're just launches. Just use them. We don't care. Why'd you care?" And
then you use them.
And I use them. I'm like, oh, okay, I get why people have it now. Do you know what I actually have? In Valve, you can add
import
software,
games,
can't you? I actually have a section called launchers. I launch my launchers from Valve because I can't be asked having them all on my desktop.
Your dog, I hear you like launchers within your launchers.
Yeah. Launchception. No, because they're just there, all in one place then. I load up Steam, and they're all under the section launchers. If I want to launch, then I could just launch it. Because Steam is just always launched on my PC, so...
Huh. Weird. Next.
We're all obviously very upset about hearing about all the layoffs, but a bit of positivity, I guess, for a change. Mass layoffs at From Software won't happen as long as this company is my responsibility, says Miyazaki.
Good guy, Michael Zaki.
Good.
He went on to say, speaking to myself and this company, I want to say that it's not something I would wish on the staff at From Software in a million years. I'm pretty sure our parent company, Kadokawa, understands that and shares that view. I think it was the old president of Nintendo, Iwata-san, who said that people who are afraid of losing their jobs are afraid of making good things. I'm paraphrasing that, but I totally share this view, he said. He thinks it's true, and he thinks the people at Kadokawa, our parent company, understand and hold this view very strongly. While we can't say 100%, we can't say with complete certainty the future's going to hold for what the future's going to hold for From and Kadokawa. At least as long as this company's my responsibility, that's something I would not let happen. So hopefully our players and our fans can take a little bit of assurance from that.
Yeah,
I suppose it's easier to say when it's not a publicly owned company, isn't it? When there's no shareholders involved, that's a much.
And it's also easier to say when your company's not been dwindling since 2010.
Kadokawa is a public company.
Oh, is it?
It is.
From Software owned by Kadokawa, but
Kadokawa
is a public company.
Yeah, it is. But From Soft in general, they're going from strength to strength. Every year they're making even more money.
Yeah,
it also helps that they put out 10 out of 10 games and then 10 out of 10 DLC.
Constantly. constantly just putting out great material. Yeah, some people aren't into it, but
everything since Dark Souls 2 has been a 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, Elden Ring, Sekiro, Armored Core. Yeah.
It's just non-stop
banger
hits.
after banger after banger.
Yeah.
And they're relatively low-budget games compared to like a lot of other things. I know.
Yeah, they are.
I know Elden Ring.
For them, do they?
I know Elden Ring was a very expensive game to make because it's fucking enormous. But you know,
Sims like rival Life by You has been cancelled after an indefinite delay. Following multiple delays, Paradox Interactive has cancelled its sim-like game. Announcing the cancellation last night, Deputy CEO Matthias Lilja called this decision difficult, stating it was a clear failure on Paradox's part to meet both our own and the community's expectations.
I hadn't even heard of this.
Never even heard of it.
I follow Paradox quite closely.
News?
Yeah, it was one of the showcases last year, I'm going to say. Where they sort of were saying, here's a Sims-like game. Everyone's, it's finally somebody else is trying to make a Sims-like game.
Play The Sims.
Well, yeah, but
I remember the herbs.
To fruition.
Remember the herbs, Candy?
Say it again, sorry.
Can you remember the herbs?
Oh, I remember the herbs.
Sims in the City.
Oh, that's so good.
It was only good because they didn't blur out the shagging in it.
Oh, the PlayStation 2 was such a terrible time, wasn't it?
Oh, it was so terribly good. So terribly good.
But it just sounds like they went through a lot of work with this game to the point where I guess it was almost ready for early access, and then it's just fallen apart.
Paradox have been weird recently. Like they've had a few stinkers come out. Like they published City Skylines 2 before it was ready and stuff like that.
It was shite, wasn't it?
It's good now, but it needed like another 6 months in the oven before it put it into early access.
It's supposed to be good when it comes out.
Well, yeah. They keep pushing out games before they're ready, unless it's one of their
something
own
I've never heard
ones.
of has died in the same minute. Next.
More information on Atomfall via Planty asked me to put this in. The independent video company that announced its new release, which takes place in Cumbria, north of England, in the aftermath of Windscale disaster. Windscale fire occurred at Sellafield on October the 10th, 1957, and has been described as the worst nuclear accident in the UK's history, one of the worst in the world. This is obviously fictional. Now, Rebellion, the company behind popular shooter Sniper Elite, has announced the new game Atomfall will be set 5 years after the fire in a fictionalized quarantine zone.
The Windscale fire did happen. That's a real
did it really?
thing. Yes, 10th of October. No, the game's fictitious, but the Windscale fire.
There was no mutants or mechs after it, but it happened.
Yeah, the Windscale fire in Sellafield happened in 1957. It did happen. It's a real thing.
Oh wow!
Definitely
Aware of that. Missed that one.
You were what, 30-year-old then, Biggie? You can't remember.
Fuck off.
It's
the radiation. It's affected my memory.
It was a level 5 out of 7 on the International Nuclear Event Scale. So Candy, the perfect score.
Yeah.
Whereas Chernobyl was a 7 out of 7.
Yeah, that's the one I knew. I didn't realise.
Top 10 disasters. In at number 1, Chernobyl.
I'm really excited for Atomfall. I hope it doesn't do like an Atomic Hearts where it looks really good and then just it's a at the end.
Look, shits the bed like Atomic Hearts. I'll be furious.
I told you this earlier. Rebellion are making it. Their games are all right.
They
haven't made a great game.
I'm okay with all right. All right is fine with me.
Yeah, they're always... Sniper Elite's all right. Zombie Trilogy, Army Trilogy, all right. They're all right games. They're fun.
It says it here. Atomfall is a news story based on a real disaster, told in the speculative fiction style typical of 1950s, 60s Britain. And players can expect to see post-war Britain, Cold War paranoia, mysterious folk horror blended with elements inspired by classic British sci-fi like Day of the Triffids, Doctor Who, and the Quatermass Experiment.
I wonder if Planty's in this. Planty's got to be in this somewhere.
I wonder if there's been... there has been another game with Cumbria in it, by the way. I just don't know if you can remember it, Gadget. Who remembers Broken Sword 5?
Oh, God, many, many moons ago.
Yeah, you go to Cumbria in that. For a brief chapter. I think that's
Where's Escape to Rapture supposed to be set?
Sussex.
Everyone's gone to the Rapture.
Was that in Sussex, was it?
Yes.
Yeah, not Escape to Rapture.
I forgot about that one.
It's shit.
How was it?
I liked
It was
it.
all right.
Just a walking sim.
Yeah.
Nice little story told in it, and very 1980s Thatcherite Britain.
Very much so.
Best time. Next.
Over to World of Film and TV. Just a few mentions here. Until Dawn movie has announced its cast. Has Ella Rubin, Michael Camino, Ji Young Soo, and Odessa Zion to star, and David F. Sandberg is set to direct.
So I don't know who any of those people are, but
no,
yeah,
I reckon that'd be alright as a
what they're making.
Like a
Sorry, I
horror
weren't
movie,
listening.
Until Dawn.
Yeah,
Played
it's
it.
perfectly set up to be a film. Be fine.
Yeah,
Seems pointless.
it
Yeah,
does,
the-
but
the game's a film.
I reckon
It already is a
sell.
film, yeah.
Yeah,
They're
a
just
really good
making
film.
every game into a film now.
That's what I was saying. Because they've run out of comic books to do now. Now gaming is the new thing.
But like, the whole thing about Until Dawn was like it was like an interactive movie in a game. Like
Yeah, it was. You could.
I
you could
suppose not
literally-
everyone's.
There is a mode on Until Dawn to just watch it. You know.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
everyone's a gamer though, are they? So I suppose if it brings it to a wider audience,
well, they
no
should
one's a
be.
bloody
They should
moviegoer
be,
at the
exactly.
moment. No one goes to fucking cinema. Never mind it. Gamer. Okay, now. Next.
We had our first look at The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, which will be out in theatres December the 13th, the animated
good.
movie.
Yeah, it looks
good.
great. Art style's fantastic.
Love it.
It suits it. It suits it perfectly.
It's like those, you know, when you get those ones on TikTok where people have like done Lord of the Rings or Star Wars in like a anime style or like an old
Yeah.
Ghibli looking style, and you're like, oh, I want this, and then they've done that.
It makes a little bit of sense in my like headcanon because like the Rohirrim's to the east, there's a lot of rolling fields and stuff, and they're quite a samurai-esque culture, and then they're doing an anime on it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm banging.
Have you ever seen
It
the
suits it.
animated Lord of the Rings movies from the, I think it was
I've seen
the
the
Yes,
Hobbit.
I used
the
to
Ralph
love
Bakshi
them.
ones.
80s? Yeah,
I've seen them. The shite.
Yeah,
I used
like
to love
that.
it when I was a kid. That was my favourite.
yeah, I remember.
It's about the point. I saw the Lord of the Rings one around about the point that he starts kind of like transitioning into like random people covered in red, like live action mixed with the animation.
I was
I
going to
kind of
say, I
fell off
remember the
it.
animation being weird.
He used shadow puppets as well.
It
in
was.
the war bits.
I think Bakshi was on too much acid at the time.
Bakshi was on
I
acid.
think you're right.
Yeah, there's because they did adults, real life people acting, didn't they? They cel shaded over it.
Yeah, it was rotoscoping.
Rotoscope.
Yeah, rotoscope. So you've got that. So obviously with the live action Aragorn, you've got the when he kicked that helmet, he broke his toe.
Yeah. Did
in
he?
the and in the cartoon version, you've got when they're running, the actor actually fell over, and they couldn't be asked to retake it, so
And they
they
left
just just animated him falling over.
That's me. That's me.
No, it's not very good, that original. It's shite.
No, I've never bothered. Like I said,
And
I've watched the Hobbit one quite recently in the last few years, and even that's a bit.
And it's incomplete. He only got to Helm's Deep.
No. I've seen it where they get to the gates, and Sauron opens up. There is definitely a version. I've seen that.
Is there?
Yeah, because they make the mouth for Sauron and everything. Yeah, definitely seen it.
I'm
Absolutely.
fairly sure it was just the first half of the story.
I have taken a lot of drugs.
So did the director.
Yeah, it ends at Helm's Deep, the film.
Does it? Where have I thought that up from?
Are you high right now, Oodles? How many fingers are you holding up?
I'm not holding any up.
Oh, you're not that bad then.
Yeah, where have I thought that up from? Who knows? I've seen the film trilogy that many times now. It probably just blends into cartoon in my head.
God, apparently Mick Jagger wanted to play Frodo in that film.
Why not? I like Gandalf. I like Gandalf. Let's go take this ring. I like Gandalf. That's my Mick Jagger impression. I can't do it.
Fuck's sake.
All right. Next.
I nearly said next myself. Jan Demange is now no longer directing Blade, the movie. He's now the second director to lead
Never
the
coming
project.
out. Never
film's
coming
the
Not
out.
going well, is it?
Are they
No.
fucking doing this to me?
Got a stake in the heart, this one.
I'm going to end up having to go and direct it, aren't I?
That was announced in 2019, and Blade makes a voiceover appearance in the Eternals, and we still haven't got any close to this. Like,
Apparently, he's in the new Deadpool film, isn't he?
Who
That's what
knows?
everyone's saying, but everyone's apparently in that.
Everyone's in that. Yeah.
Was there a reason given
Probably
from leaving it?
No, not in the
Nothing's happening. He's probably just sat there going, "Can I start my film yet?" And like, nah.
I know Mashal Ali's expressed his disdain for The Wait. He's getting a bit pissed off.
Wesley Snipes has piped about it now.
Yeah, I mean, if Mashal Ali, like Oscar-winning actor, is now getting a bit pissed off, he'll just fuck off, and he would have been perfect casting.
The thing is, they never had plans. They never had plans for Blade. It was him that went to Kevin Feige and said, "I'd love to do Blade."
Yeah,
and they're like, someone of your caliber wants to be in the MCU. Yeah, okay then.
Yeah,
and then they've just nothing's happened since.
You can also understand why he's getting annoyed because he's a fit guy, but he'll have to bulk up.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so
he's getting older.
But that one, yes, he's getting older, and it'll take longer to bulk up. But also, two, it affects the jobs he can take in the meantime. Because if Marvel come and say, "Oh, we're going to start filming in November," and he's doing some kind of period drama, he's going to have to start building up for 6 months. That's going to affect that filming as well.
And he looks monstrous. I'm like, okay.
But he starts the film skinny as fuck and ends up looking monstrous.
Yeah, like I watched Green Book again recently, and I love Mashal Ali. I think he's one of the best actors we've got. But it's like, I couldn't imagine his character in Green Book being muscular.
Maybe they just don't have to be muscular. This is the problem. Not every superhero has to be muscular. I could imagine a Blade being like a bit
skinny Blade.
A skinnier, more
I can.
More kind of.
He is half vampire, so he's got supernatural strength.
Yeah,
he doesn't have to have muscle,
exactly. Just a bit more limber and slinky.
Ninja
The word is absolutely escaping me, but you know what I mean.
Athletic.
Not athletic. Doesn't matter. Anyway, it's like the guy that's in the new Jurassic World film or Jurassic Park, whatever they're gonna call it. He's been bulking up for it, and people on the internet are like, why does everybody have to be bulky and massive?
Is he playing a professor as well?
Yeah, it's like all in the original. None of them were like bulky. They're just normal looking people. Like
I think the fittest person on that was Muldoon.
Jeff Goldblum.
No, Muldoon. He was in good shape.
Oh yeah, probably yeah. No, Jeff Goldblum with his top.
Oh, with his top.
That chest out, yeah.
But he wasn't jacked for it though, was it? He was just
slimy.
lying there looking greasy.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit bored of like every man having to be jacked for every single role. It's like
I'm not bored of it.
I'm also not bored of it.
Okay,
I'll give it up.
It doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to happen. That's the whole point. Like
I think
jack them up.
I think Thor: Love and Thunder for me solidified why it's stupid to get them pumped up, like steroid pumped up the way like Chris Hemsworth did for that film. Because yes, I know he's supposed to be playing a god, but he didn't look real, you know.
Well, look, Hugh Jackman says he doesn't like doing it.
Yeah,
but he's
admitted this week, haven't he, that they've CGI'd his arms and stuff this time, which is
like
he
literally has to go days without drinking so he can get that like dehydrated, like ripped to fuck look.
Yeah.
Like,
use technology. You can use technology. Look, a good example. We'll probably all talking about The Boys soon. Look at Anthony Starr. He's not ripped, but his character is.
Yeah.
And I know it's kind of the thing in the show that he's actually not ripped, but he looks ripped, doesn't he? Because of the suit.
I don't know. I just in a modern world of unrealistic expectations, every.
I thought you were getting ripped this year, Stig.
I am, but
when?
That's not for a movie role.
For the Blade movie.
Look at that, mate.
Where am I looking?
Yeah, you see. You'll see when we get in that hot tub.
I can't wait. I'm only egging him on so he actually reveals it all to me, listeners. It's my little cunning plan. Next.
Yeah.
No one's surprised by this, but there will be an Uncharted film sequel. It's now
Next.
in development, Sony confirmed. Okay, that's it.
I'm not interested, mate. Next.
I can't do another Mark Wahlberg film.
No.
Do you know,
I'm silly.
He said way back when he was told he was going to play Nathan Drake, and then because the project took so long to get off the ground, they came back to him and said, "You're too old, but we've got this other part for you."
Can you play Gandalf?
I still don't like the casting in that.
I watched that film and I cannot tell you a single fucking scene in it. It was the most forgettable crap I've ever seen. Next.
Well, over to the weird world web. A man coughed and sneezed at the same time, causing his colon to fall out of his body as he sat having breakfast. At a US diner.
I do that all the time.
Fuck off.
The 63-year-old who was with his wife at the Florida restaurant felt a wet sensation followed by a sharp pain.
Oh.
He lifted up his shirt and spotted several inches of his colon poking out of his surgical wound. The man had recently had abdominal surgery
this year. I don't need this.
But doctors told him the incision had healed well. An ambulance was called, and on arrival, paramedics observed a 3-inch opening with large amounts of the bowel protruding through.
Brother.
But he was taken to hospital, and surgeons managed to put his bowel back into his abdomen. After 6 days, he was able to return home and has apparently recovered without complications.
I quite like burping and sneezing at the same time. No, not burping and sneezing. Sneezing and what was it? Coughing and what happened?
Coughing and sneezing. He took a screenshot.
I was going to say, yeah, it's normally the burp and fart is a screenshot, isn't it?
I mean, those first two lines were very misleading because it makes it sound like he fucking prolapsed.
Yeah, I thought that's what he was going for, but
he found something wet and his asshole was on the table.
He was rose.
Have I guys told you, or have I said it on the pod, the story of my after my operation on my teeth? Did I ever tell you guys about this?
On your teeth? That's nowhere near your ass, mate.
So, very quickly, I had I think it's a underbite. My bottom jaw protruded over my top jaw.
Yeah.
So when I put my teeth together, it was like that. I went through years of braces, head brace, retainer.
You can tell.
Everything. And then when I was 21, I had an operation, and they were originally going to remove bone from my bottom jaw to make it smaller so that my top teeth would go over my bottom teeth. And on the day of the operation, they changed their mind, and they decided what they wanted to do was remove my top jaw completely, where my teeth are, bring it forward 8 millimeters, and then reattach it to my skull, which is what they did.
Christ.
And I had something like 3 months recovery after that, as everything healed, and it healed very well, actually, I must say. But within 2 weeks of being at home,
mate.
Thank you. But when I was at home recovering, I think it was in the second week, I was sitting there having my dinner in bed, and my mum blended up something like a burger, beans and chips for me, and blended it, so it was like some soup-like substance that I could eat. Because I had the tiniest of mouth holes. It was like the end of a cigarette butt.
Just soup.
Oh yeah, I had soup, but she was trying to make it a bit more interesting for me, bless her.
That's too
And whilst I was eating said meal, I got an itch on my nose and panicked because I was about to sneeze. And I tried to put off said sneeze as much as possible, and then the largest sneeze I've ever had in my life came out of my body. The pain that shot through my head, I cannot describe. And I had my eyes closed for about 10-15 minutes because I didn't want to open them and see my top jaw sitting in my plate of
Oh my God.
It was awful, but luckily they were still attached. But that pain was unreal. It was awful.
And if you are eating your dinner while listening to this, I can only apologise, everybody.
Or driving, or breathing, or existing.
Talking about surgery, when I went to get my penis reduction surgery, I'll not get into it.
They couldn't find it.
Fuck you.
When I fractured my sternum, sneezing was the worst thing. But I had to try and stifle every sneeze because it would just.
Weren't you on the podcast not long after as well? And you were like, "Don't make me laugh," and we just had the funniest.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, the next day when I went and threw up, that didn't hurt. I was dreading throwing up.
It probably uses a different.
But I was like, I'm going to have to because I drank a whole bottle of gin. But yeah, sneezing was just, it wrecked. And then when it had healed up, it still hurt. Like you'd sneeze and it would feel like there's a movement there, and it like cracked all over again. It just had this weird, like cracking feeling every time.
Because the thing is, with a sneeze, you do everything you can to try and stop, but eventually, if your body wants to do it, it's going to happen.
Yeah, it makes it worse if you try and all the time when I'm trying to tattoo, the last thing you want to do is sneeze, because like I can't sneeze into the tattoo. If I try and sneeze behind me, I sneeze into somebody else's tattoo. So you end up trying to not do it and end up basically just exploding.
No, you've got to do the Dracula, haven't you? You've got to sneeze into your elbow.
I did when I had a nose infection, I was sneezing so much that I eventually just got like shock down my arm. Like my whole body was just like, I was just constantly sneezing for days, and eventually it felt like I was having a heart attack. My arm.
We have gone off topic
my body was
here,
just
guys.
Shaking.
Christ, this has become.
Didn't have a prolapse anus like this man though.
This has been the Sneezecast.
This has been Michael Burke's 999. Remember that show?
Oh, I used to love that.
I literally saw a TikTok.
There was
about
one
this today.
last breaking news, by the way.
Oh, some breaking news.
It's a very slightly belated happy birthday to our very own Candy Machine.
Yay!
That's not news. It's all month.
It is the whole month.
Right.
It's Candy Month.
It's the first.
I will say, though, that next year it's going to be a birthday year, so the month is fine.
Oh, for
Do we get our birthdays in your birthday year, or does it all get cancelled?
No, it's
Just for
all
you?
about me next year, I'm afraid.
That's fine.
Do we get an
How
additional
old will
bank
you be
holiday?
next year? 30?
30, yeah.
So, well, we'll need to do our meet-up then around the birthday month, don't we? So we could do like a proper birthday.
Bumming.
Oh, get the birthday
I mean,
beats.
whatever you meant.
The birthday
I
what?
know. I said a birthday bumming. But she didn't say no. She was like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, try and eat, naughty 40 and all that.
Yeah.
Do you know what's good is that I can start again now in life. I feel like it's the fashion for younger men to go for women in their 40s. This could be a good year. This could be a good decade for me.
Are you going to kind of move into your cougar phase?
I think so.
I'll give you this. Oh, God, we're getting into it tonight, guys. I had sex with a woman in her 40s when I was 20. She loved it. So
Yeah.
you could get these younger men, Candy.
You could be like the woman who came and started chatting to me and my friends when we were in Cancun. She was clearly in
Yeah,
mid-40s,
gagging.
big fake plastic boobs, like bleach blonde hair. She was on there, but she'd come on a holiday by herself. She was married
To
to
wonder.
She was married to a rich man, and she says, "I just like going to hotels and fucking younger guys." And we were all like,
What a gal.
"Yeah," and we were all like 20-year-old lads, like, "Ah."
Can you not talk about my mother like that, please? She's a saint. Right,
Has
let's
Stig
get
frozen,
on.
or is he just having a really good memory?
He's having a really good memory.
Let's get on with the main show because I've had
Fantastic.
enough. Let's start with my favourite redheaded woman, Candy. What you been up to this week? I think
I've
we might be
got
jumping
loads.
into a lot of stuff this week.
Yeah,
So-
do you know what? I've got loads. I've got two that I
Let
think
me before
probably,
you continue. My main thing is The Boys. So if you want to leave that,
I'll leave that, and I'll also leave one of my other things because I think Gadget wants to get involved in that one. But one thing that I
Fucking hell.
did do that I can't remember if Stig might have spoken about it. I saw Furiosa finally.
No,
after
I
wanting
haven't
to see
seen
it
it
for
yet.
ages. Actually, I enjoyed it a little bit more than I was expecting to.
that's good.
And I think that benefited from seeing it in the cinema. I don't know how much I would get from it watching it on a smaller screen. But yeah, just the atmosphere, and it's all out action the entire way through. Don't ask me what the plot was. I don't think there really was one.
There's no
Rum.
Very very loose plot.
Motorbikes.
Motorbikes.
Yeah.
But no, I went in with fairly low expectations because I don't think Fury Road was the best film in the world.
You are wrong.
No, I agree with that. It's a really great action film, but it lacks a lot of other substance.
Yeah, but I think for me, like Mad Max films or, the spin-offs, I know now what I'm going in for, and it is just the action. And like I said, for that, I don't think, if you're going to watch it on Netflix or something when it comes out, probably don't expect that much from it. But as a cinematic kind of romp, great. It was fine. No complaints
Yeah.
at all. Actually, that's not true. I do have one complaint. I think it was probably about an hour too long. It's one of those films
Fury
that
Road, actually.
yeah, it's one of those films where you come out and you think, I'm fucking exhausted now. And
When I first watched Fury Road, I was like, right, so they're escaping the Morton show. They're getting there, and then near the end, like, we've got to go back. I'm like, and I audibly groaned on that plane when I watched that film. I went, oh, we've got to go back.
on the plane, the way it was
annoying.
meant to be experienced.
Yeah.
I think Chris Hemsworth, I think his role would have been better played by Jason Momoa. I think it's more like Momoa does the kind of, let's call him
He's
the
losing his
B-list.
luster, isn't he, old Chris Hemsworth? He's losing it, isn't he?
Yeah, and I can understand why they chose him because he's Australian and everything, but I guess it was a different role for him to take, and I think he was having fun with it. But yeah,
Doesn't it make him up to look not pretty?
he still looks pretty.
Yeah.
But yeah, they give him a big conch and everything, and some interesting facial hair. But we all know what's underneath it. I mean, come on.
Yeah, pretty man.
Yeah, yeah, enjoyed it. See it at the cinema. Don't see it on the TV.
No, not a chance.
I've been trying, but I ain't had a chance, unfortunately.
If Stig can't get to cinema, no chance I'm getting there. Not cinema guy.
So
Anything
moving on
else?
to moving on to the second thing, and I think Gadget is going to want to jump in on this one. I played the DLC to Alan Wake 2 Night Springs.
Yes.
Which is a 3 episodes, 1 hour per episode adventure following 3 different characters from the Remedy universe.
I've done the first 2 out of the 3. I still haven't done the last one yet. So no spoilers, please.
No spoilers. However, get that third one played because...
Oh, we will.
Why don't you take us away on the first one? Because I know you particularly enjoyed it.
Oh, the first one is called World's Greatest Fan. Or number one fan in the world. And this is a story... It's set out as Night Springs, as the Twilight Zone. So each of the 3 episodes is introduced by wall and door, giving you the whole in a strange time, in a strange place kind of lines. And this follows the Alan Wake's number 1 fan, Rose, as she has to rescue her beleaguered author after he has been kidnapped by his evil twin werewolf brother. And it's fucking hilarious because it's written from her perspective and her delusion that she is the greatest waitress in the world.
Is she talking about Scratch?
No, this is another one.
This she's made her own up.
She's made her own up. She just calls him the bad boy. Because
Bad Boy is my favourite new Alan Wake.
Because he's Alan Wake with slick back hair, a leather jacket, and a motorcycle.
Oh, nice.
But
I just completely forgot this came out, even though I was like, it's out. Even though I said it.
It's so funny because throughout Rose's dialogue is like she's talking about how she's going to save the writer. She doesn't name him as Alan Wake, but like, I need to save my writer. He's in such trouble, and I'm the only one who can do it, kind of thing. And in all the cutscenes, she's got that weird kind of inane grin, but she's now covered in blood, walking around with an automatic shotgun. It's fucking hilarious.
Everything's kind of like, excuse the pun, everything is rose tinted, isn't it? Did you notice the kind of the effects they had on it?
Yeah,
everything's kind of like slightly out of focus in the background, and
there's like a red hue over it all, and
yeah.
It's so funny. Like she gets the notice that Alan Wake is in trouble while she's at work. She says, I must go and accessorize and get ready to save him. And she walks into the back kitchen in the restaurant, and it's just full of guns. Nice. Which was say a girl needs all her accessories or something like that. And like you walk around.
Let's not forget that Alan contacts her through one of those singing trouts.
Yes,
do you remember
Billy
those,
Bass,
the ones you used to get from like Mankind and stuff?
Take me to the water.
Yeah.
And like it's just little touches, like like when you reload shit. Oops, my gun is hungry, and she just starts like loading bullets into it. It's so fucking funny. And of course, bad boy Alan Wake. Well, he's a werewolf, but he also has a second wolf. The man has 2 wolves in him. Such as the literary genius of it. And like I say, it's as Caddy said, each of them is an hour long. And you
so it's not very long then.
No, it's for 3 hours in total. You get a banging Night Springs theme tune at the end of each episode.
That actually encouraged me to go back and watch The Twilight Zone as well. So I've gone back and started watching the first 3 episodes of the original Twilight Zone, which has been a joy as well.
Yeah. So that's the first one, number 1 fan. The second one is North Star, I think.
Yes, that's right, because it's named after Polaris, isn't it? The alien that talks to her. I think that was the weakest of the 3. Is the so it stars Jesse Faden from Control, and less enjoyable, I think, although still pretty good. It's set in the
Coffee World.
What was it? Coffee World, isn't it? From Alan Wake, so. You don't have, there's no new set and everything. It kind of feels like the ground that you've gone through before if you've played Alan Wake 2.
But you do get Tim Breaker there being all kind of Alex Jonesy and deep state shit going on, which is really funny.
You still have to collect your coffee flasks.
No, but
you're
not supposed to drink the coffee. The coffee turns you strange.
You didn't collect. I think there was one collectible in that game as like an Easter egg, wasn't there? In 2. The Thermos. Because in Alan Wake 1, that's all you do. Collect Thermos and Duracells. It's weird. It's weird.
By the way, yeah, the Jesse Faden one wasn't as good as the Rose one, but it was still enjoyable. Had some interesting stuff.
Jesse Faden as a character.
I like Jessie as a character, but she's like ultimately stoic. Nothing seems to flap her.
I think she's the best character that Remedy have made.
Yeah, she's good.
Genuinely.
No, I like North Star as well.
Yeah. And the third one is what I assume is more Quantum Break. I haven't played Quantum Break. I need to go back and play it now.
It's good.
It's sort of, but not from what I've seen, because you're not playing the character.
It's not his character, is it?
It's not his character. You're actually just playing Sean Ashmore.
Yeah.
Which I find really
This
funny.
one is very
Iceman.
fourth wall breaking. This one,
Iceman.
and Sam Lake as Sam Lake playing Sam
Have you
Lake.
got
being Sam
an
Lake.
Xbox, Candy? You haven't, you?
Yep.
Get that Quantum Break. I didn't watch the show that came out with it, but you know when I had the Series S when it first came out.
No,
I played Quantum Break and I really liked it.
Yeah.
Quantum Break is set out in chapters, and at the end of each chapter, you've got a 20-minute TV show version of it. As a
didn't
long
watch it.
cutscene. There's like 6
Oh.
episodes throughout it.
Yeah.
So I can watch the episodes without playing the game.
Yes.
Probably online, yeah.
That will
Yeah,
be
you
the
can.
way for me to go.
I
I
think
think.
you
Well,
can, I
not
think you
because you have the action
The
of the
link.
game, and then you have the TV show bit.
To talk about what
I
you've
see,
just
I
done
see,
in
I
the
see,
game.
I see.
But you don't have to watch the show because it tells you previously. That kind of thing.
I'm with you. Gadget, I think the third one is going to be your favourite. And again,
I'm sure
without
it will be.
spoilers, but yeah, it is fantastic.
I've se-
And it
I've
kind
seen-
of
I've
brings
se-
it all together.
I've seen the opening cutscene bit for it. I haven't got into it properly.
Finally,
Yeah.
Sean Ashmore's getting his time in the sun again.
Yeah, but thoroughly enjoyed it. And I still haven't played the final cut of Alan Wake. So the first time you play Alan Wake 2, the second playthrough is different. So you get your proper sort of final ending. I still haven't done it, so I need to go back and do that now.
I'm about halfway through my run of that.
So there's
I started Alan Wake 2,
reason.
and then you lot said go play Control instead.
Yeah,
first.
stop being
I'm
See,
bitter
I
about
don't-
it. Go fucking play Control.
Hang on,
I don't
didn't
agree
know there
with
was.
that.
I
I
didn't
don't-
know there was. Go back. I didn't know there was a second ending to
Yeah,
Alan
there's
Wake 2.
there's a new game plus now.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, the proper ending, supposedly. I don't know what it is, but
Oh,
yeah.
I can't remember. I'm gonna have to play it again and then again.
Well, remember.
But yeah, going back to you, Stig, I don't agree that you need to play Control.
do.
I mean, I think it would be handy to, but I don't. I think you're going to want to after you've played Alan Wake 2, and I think things are going to. Oh, that's that. But I don't think it's necessary to play it beforehand.
It is a game that I
it's-
do want to play though.
I think
so-
it's better than Alan Wake 2. Stig, play it anyway.
Yeah,
It is fantastic.
I've got them both. I've paid for them both.
You'll-
So I might as well.
you might as well do Control first, because you'll get through Control faster than you will Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2 is a longer game.
Yeah, it is. It is. Cool. Let's leave. You ain't got another apart from the main one, have you, Candy?
No.
So let's go over to Castle Biggie over there. See what he's been up to. I've had a biggie week this week.
No, I haven't. Fuck you. I've watched. I've watched Them. This is an American black horror anthology series created
Them,
by
as
Little
in
Marvin.
The ants.
Them. No. And executive produced by Lena Waithe. The series stars Deborah Iorinde, Ashley Thomas, Alison Pill, and Ryan Quanten, to name a few. It's on Amazon Prime, and it came out in 2021 in April. Second season is also out
New
now,
one,
which came out in April this year. This particular season is set in 1953. It's called Them Covenant, and it follows a black family who moved from North Carolina to an all-white neighborhood in East Compton during the Second Great Migration. The family's idyllic home slowly transforms into an epicenter of evil forces next door and otherworldly that threaten to haunt, ravage, and destroy them. Right off the bat, I'm going to say it's a very harrowing watch, but performances and genuine unease with the supernatural undertones have you kind of doubting what the characters see, whether it's real or not. The treatment of the black family by their pure white neighbours is not subtle and has you questioning humanity as a whole. It's really difficult to watch this family go through. And it's not hard to imagine what probably happened in real life experiences that black people had in those times and continue today, as we're all aware of the racism that seems to be ingrained in American culture, to name a few countries. The family are all fantastic, especially the performances by Iorinde and Thomas, and a great performance from Pill as the scheming bitch Betty. She is just nasty with this family. She wants them out of the neighborhood, and what she gets all the other houses involved, all the basically the housewives. The men go to work, the wives are at home, so they've got nothing better to do than harass this family, and the stuff that they put this family through is awful. And then each character of the family, the Black family, they seem to have their own demons about the treatment, how they react to what's happening to them in the past. And yeah, it's only, I think, 8 episodes long. I wouldn't really recommend binging it. I did. But yeah, it's a tough watch if you're not ready for it.
I sounds sadist and sick, but I kind of like watching them when it's.
It was riveting for me.
I get it mood in them ones.
Yeah, I can understand why it would upset people because it's subtle. But yeah, fantastic performance. And there's a second season out, which is set in the 90s, which I'm interested in. Again,
I also think that's cool when they do that with shows.
Like American Horror Story.
Yeah, I don't know if all the characters, all the actors are from the first season or in the second, but she is the sort of main star of the show, and she's so good. Great performance from her. And there's a lot of subtext, different messages to take away from this film. So it may trigger some, TV series. It may trigger people. So I'll give that as a warning, and all sorts of things happen. But yeah, really, really entertaining, thoroughly. I don't know how I missed this, to be perfectly honest. It came out in 21, so I've really enjoyed catching up with that.
And
also want to do a very quick mini review. I received a code for Capes, which is from published by Daedalic Entertainment. It's a very XCOM-like tactical strategy game.
Superhero one, isn't it?
We're superheroes. I'm only a few hours in, but 20 years ago, the supervillains won. Since then, they've created a dystopian city where developing superpowers is a crime. Nobody has managed to slow them down until now. As mentioned, it's a turn-based superhero strategy game where you naturally build a team of superheroes and fight to take back the city. Played across a series of campaigns and patrol missions. You choose to push forward with the story and take time to explore the side missions, unlock more heroes, skill points, all that kind of stuff to develop your team. You can have up to 4 that you can take with you at any time. It's quite challenging, I have to say. Once you get past the tutorial stuff, it takes the reins off straight away. I'm currently stuck on a particular mission where more and more enemies keep coming on the screen, and the one thing you can't do is heal at this point where I'm at in the game. So you have to be very tactical with the powers that you have and the limited actions and movement, etc. It's quite challenging, but you do get ultimate moves that you can pull off. You can choose to do a particular move with another team member. They're all obviously very different. One guy will have like telepathic abilities. Somebody can teleport. Somebody uses crystals to put armor on and stuff like that. But yeah, it's good. It's really, I like it. It's very XCOM like. But artwork, when you're getting the plot updates at the end of the mission or beforehand, you've got this really nice drawn artwork. And then the in-game action is fine, but the cutscenes, the character modeling is awful. It looks really kind of PS2 era, I have to say. Really disappointed with that. I'm not quite sure why that part of the game doesn't seem to have been looked at as much as the rest of it. The animation,
low-budget game, innit?
But if you're not bothered about the plot side of it and just want the challenge of your tactical tactic type games, then that's exactly what that game is. But I'm enjoying it. I will go back to it. I need a little breather from Baldur's Gate 3, so I thought I'd have a crack at this. But yeah, we like it. I like the idea. I just think because by the way, it's not got a license, so it's not like they're using superheroes. They're all created by the team. So
that's good.
I think a game like this is really gagging for a license like Marvel or DC. Like Midnight Suns.
Like Midnight Suns, yeah.
Yeah, we had the chance for that with Midnight Suns. They shit the fucking bed with it.
They did. But I think something like, as always, like maybe the X-Men or the Avengers or Justice League, if you want to do DC. I mean, there's ways you could do it, but the license will obviously come at a cost. So I can understand why they use their own characters. And the voiceover is, the voice acting is hit and miss. It works sometimes, and there's a bit
it's not very cracking in XCOM, to be fair.
Well, exactly. Again, is that the most important part of the game? Probably not. You're there for the challenge of the combat, so... fans of those types of games will like this.
Awesome. Brilliant. Jam-packed
out on all platforms, by the way, as far as I'm aware.
Out on all platforms, guys. It's out on Mega Drive, if you want to pick that up.
That's it for me.
Cool. Stick, you've been doing Sun.
I have had a biggie week.
That's fine. It's fine, mate. You're allowed them because you're usually jam-packed with stuff. You're allowed a day off.
Yeah, I've been continuing with One Pan Man in the gym.
One Pan Man! Love it. Isn't it good? Isn't it a great season?
It's so good. And then obviously Acolyte and then House of the Dragon started up again, so I've watched that.
Oh, has it started now? I'm
Yeah.
not going to bother until it's all out, so I can use one 14-day trial or whatever.
So yeah, like media-wise, I haven't done anything. The only thing I have done this week is I went to go see Miss Swift.
Oh,
You can review that if you want.
Yeah.
Well, of course, I'm going to talk about it.
I mean, you haven't took clothes off yet.
No, I haven't. I'm well, this is part of the reason because I've got this special shirt. I went all out for it. The girls obviously had their outfit. Kate had their outfit. They're all glittery, big sparkly dresses, and had the nails done. They had sparkles and glitter all over the face. They're covered in bracelets. So the thing about Taylor Swift concerts is that all the fans make bracelets, and then you exchange them and you share them with other people. So Callie was just gauntlets, basically, of bracelets. And she, in her element, running around like trading them all, everything. I got mine here. This is what I've got left here. I got Swifty Dad. I got this one, which is Who's Afraid of Little Old Me. Kate made some Eras Tour with my initials. Reputation is my favorite album. This one says TS LFC because we're at Liverpool. But yeah, it's not recency bias, but this is generally one of the best gigs I've ever been to in my life. It was absolutely phenomenal. Just so good. She is an absolute machine and entertained everyone for 3 hours non-stop. The whole setup, the stage design, the way they use the stage for her, like the whole stage floor is like LED, so it all lights up, so it's all constantly changing and has stuff going on all the time. They had platforms that move up and down, so she would be like moving up and down platforms, or backing vocals and dancers would be there. They had all like props and they had different things. So when she came out for Folklore, they had this big cabin that came out that she stood on top of and laid on top of and sang. And she had this like piano covered in moss for Folklore that she sang at and did. But yeah, it's just absolutely phenomenal. I had such a good time. They were supported by Paramore as well. She was supported by Paramore, so that was double bonus for me because I've been a fan of Paramore since their first album. Hayley Williams is just incredible. Like, that girl has one of the best voices I've ever heard in my life. Very self-deprecating as well. She kept going, she says, "Oh, we didn't think anyone would know who we were. We didn't think anyone would know our songs." And I was like, yeah, people know who you are. Like, the place was bouncing and singing her songs.
She often seems very uncomfortable with her fame, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Same.
But just, the only exception was Beautiful, and that's the song that Kate came down the aisle to as well, so that's kind of a special song for me and Kate.
Oh, did you cry?
No.
Did you have a snog?
I had a little cuddle and a kiss, yeah. And I'm still into You is my brother-in-law and sister-in-law's first dance. They had an acoustic version of that at their wedding, so that has a bit of a meaning to us as well. But the crowd were well into it, jumped up and down, singing all their songs. The kids were... Amelia's got this thing about she's quite shy, and she was like, "Oh, it'd be embarrassing singing loud, like people will hear me." And like, it's like, Amelia,
Sweetheart.
no one's there to see you or going to care about you. They are here purposely for Taylor Swift. You couldn't even hear anyone next to you. They'd done such a good job with the sound that all you heard was Taylor Swift. And when the whole crowd got into a song, you could obviously hear the collective of a crowd, but they'd done such a good job that you weren't being drowned out by the people around you.
Was that the kids' first gig?
No, it was going to be, but then we got tickets for Olivia Rodrigo in May, so this is second gig. But
spent about 12 grand on gigs this year alone.
No, because we've been quite lucky because Olivia Rodrigo was through work, so we got them cheap for
what do you call cheap?
£40 a ticket.
That is cheap, actually. Yeah,
especially for an arena show.
In a box.
I'll let you off. That's cheap.
And Taylor Swift, we paid face value because my friend got them for a season ticket.
How much were they?
90 each.
That's a lot cheaper than I've heard. People are paying £900, aren't they?
Exactly. So we did all right.
I've
Had a really good
you've done all right there, mate.
I've seen a TikTok from someone who was at that same night that you were, who paid 600 something quid for like for VIP
see.
tickets,
They
and they
couldn't
were
say
like,
anything.
yeah, they were side of stage and they had like some gantry in front of them and they couldn't see any of the stage.
There's a few shocking things going on with Ticketmaster, unfortunately, which has come out to light.
I've
People-
never heard of them being bad.
I'm surprised.
Duplicate tickets and stuff like
duplicate tickets and things like that. I just feel really sorry for people. I mean, adults are, it's sad enough for them, but there was people with kids there that were just struggling, and they eventually got them in, but some of them had missed like an hour of the show already and stuff. But for me, my experience was amazing. I got compliments on my shirt. People stopped me, asked me where I got it. People said how amazing my shirt was. And
Did you get any numbers from any ladies?
No.
Did you want to, though?
That's a yes.
No, don't be silly.
They get some
I just
keys for the bowl though.
I sang every song. The one thing because
Embarrassing that dad. It's embarrassing that dad.
No, because like I said, Amelia, she started off shy, and then by the end of it, she was bouncing and singing along, like her heart out, and just like you see a video of her from the start, and she's kind of like meekly just stood there, bobbing her head, singing along, and then by the time you get to like halfway, she's just like her face in the camera that Kate had filmed, and she's singing her heart out and stuff. So she got into it, and she knew like, okay, no one's here, no one can hear me. That we're all here for Taylor Swift.
You have to take her to see Deftones next or something like that.
I'll take it to Slipknot.
They like baby,
Cradle
metal.
of Filth are touring later.
Everyone likes baby metal.
They like baby metal, so maybe I'll take
Yeah.
baby metal.
Mate, I'm coming with you to that one.
I said, can I come as well? Because I like baby
Same.
metal. Oh, you've seen them. Fuck off.
I
I've
can
seen them
imagine taking your kids to that, or going with your girlfriend or your partner, and not at least trying to learn some of the songs. There's a few people just kind of stood there, and I'm just like,
I wouldn't have gone. I'd have done the research.
yeah, like it's like if you.
There's no way I'd have gone without knowing what the songs were. There's no way on
Well,
earth.
there's even just that element that Taylor Swift's music is so pervasive in modern society. You will probably know Love Song or no, Romeo and Juliet. I can't remember what the title was of it.
Love song.
Or you'll know Cruel Summer
Gadget,
or
Love Song.
Anti-Hero or something
Shake
like
It
that.
Off.
Or Shake It Off or what's that? You need to calm
It
down.
reminds me of. I went with my one of my ex-girlfriends. She really liked the Jonas Brothers. That shows you some time back. And she's like, for her birthday, I bought some tickets at MEN, and we went, and I did my research, and I surprised her because I was sat there singing along with her. Couldn't sing it now, but you know what I mean. You do your little bit of research.
I don't like going to gigs where I don't know the music.
It's awkward,
No,
isn't
I
it?
wouldn't like to either.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I used to work for I contributed to a heavy metal website, Metal Sucks.
Does.
Yeah, and I used to get free gig passes to go and review them and photograph them. I said, this is great. Until I realised, like, after my fifth gig, I've been to 5 gigs in a row not knowing a single fucking song of what I'm going to see.
Yeah, they're all shit.
Because I get told on the day, this gig's on in Newcastle, can you go and do a review? I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. And I think it was when I saw the Misfits and didn't know a single song out of 36 that they played, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm not doing this anymore.
36 songs.
Your baby
That's probably
today.
half an hour show, wasn't it, for Misfits?
About that, yeah. Modern Misfits as
Yeah,
well,
it's
not
like-
a good one.
When we went to see Goo Goo Dolls, I hadn't really listened to anything other than the past the
They've only
first
got one song, haven't they?
first 3 albums. So like I found out
They have not got 3 albums, you
they
liar.
got about 6 or 7 now. That's the
No,
point.
they haven't. They've got one song.
Yes, they have. But that's the point I was making. Is I was like, oh, I'm just gonna find out, and I went on and I found the actual tour set list, and I listened to that. I was like, by the time I got there, I was like, I know all these songs, and some of these that I didn't know about, I really like, not just the classic ones that everyone likes. So
You mean classic one?
no, they've got loads. They've got some great songs. It's not just Iris.
That's all
The
they've
thing
got.
is, if you're seeing a gig and you've got that audience participation, especially with the big hits, haven't you? So
Brilliant,
when they sort of lean out to the crowd expecting you to sing part of the song, if you don't know the song, you're gonna a bit awkward, aren't you?
Yeah.
I hate that. Because it's always the bit that you don't know that they'll be like, all right, everyone do it. And you're like, oh, Christ. Especially when you're in the front row as well. You can know every single lyric to every single song, and it'll be the one song the singer puts the microphone in your face. You just have to pretend you're like moshing out so much you didn't even notice.
But anyway, back to Miss Swift. She has introduced, because obviously in the whole of this is like 102nd night of this tour. It's 3 hours long every session. It's just ridiculous. In between all that, she's obviously written, produced, and made a new album. So they've incorporated all that into the tour as well. So they've made a whole section, like they've removed some songs and put a whole section of that in. And there's a song called "Who's Afraid of Little Old Me," and it's quite an angry song on the album, but she fucking went for it live. Like, she almost snarling in parts, like when she's singing it. Like, it's the live version is so much better than the album version. And like, if she just sang it like that on the album, it would have been better. But I really, really enjoyed what they did with the Tortured Poet Department set. And yeah, just amazing. I would have gladly have gone and seen her the next night if I could afford it. Just, I'm absolutely blown away at how good it was. One of the biggest bonuses as well was that being a man at a Taylor Swift concert meant that there's no queues for the toilets. They'd actually converted some of the men's toilets into women's toilets. You walk past all them queuing, and shit, I walked into the men's toilets, not a single man in there, just me. That's how, like, it was just, could walk in.
That's good.
So when she was singing All Too Well, because it's like a 10-minute long song, I was like, right, I like this song, but it's 10 minutes, so I could get to the toilet and back and still hear 7 minutes of the song. Straight there, all these women queuing up, and I'm just like, do, take a pee,
Did you wash your
walk
hands?
back. They're still queuing up. The funny
What's
thing
called
was
male
actually,
privilege.
yeah, during that song as well, I could hear some guy was on the toilet having a shit, singing along.
Clearly having a good time with this day.
Yeah, but yeah, genuinely just absolutely loved it. Did not love the car journey home, getting home at 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
But other than that, the gig was amazing.
How many more gigs has she got to do? You said 102, did you say?
She's done 102. I don't know how many.
This hasn't been in a row. She had. There was a few months off in between things as well.
Yeah,
like
she did.
3 hour
But
shows. That's a lot, man. That's fuck.
I tell you what, Biggie, you'll find this amazing, because I saw this in, I think, an interview with her. Her prep for the tour, like when she was first getting started, before they were doing all like the stage rehearsals and stuff like that, was she would get on the treadmill, run at full pelt, singing the entire set list until she could do it without stopping.
Oh my god.
Because it's that physically intensive to do what she's doing. She had to be.
Yeah.
She's basically an athlete.
It's the same when I saw
know.
the Foo
Freddie
Freddie
Fighters as
Mercury
well.
did it in 70s. Freddie Mercury sniffed a line of coke and did a full fucking gig. Come on.
I mean, the gigs I've been to are like an hour long with the main act. Like when they cover their big hits and stuff, it's like 3 hours. And when all the dance routines, I imagine she does and stuff, costume changes.
see, the thing about Taylor is that she doesn't dance. She has dancers. She's never been. She even admits she can't dance, so she doesn't. She just.
Oh, okay.
But she has such a good.
That's where me and her differ.
She has like an amazing stage presence, and just the costumes and all that kind of stuff. She doesn't need to dance. Like she's got dancers there for it. So she did. What's this? 17, 51 dates in America, and then. So this was 102 in Liverpool. And she's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 left.
Can't wait.
You've got the travel as well, haven't you? When you're going around the world as well. Wow.
But yeah, it's just impressive, I think. Just, 118. I think there's some more dates to come.
How
as
old
well.
is she?
34.
He's impressive. At 34, I won't be able to do anything like that. I can't even get out of fucking bed at 34.
And yeah, the reputation. I think she's an attractive woman. I don't think she's like super hot, but the Reputation outfit was, yeah.
One for the dads.
Fucking dirty pervert.
Yeah.
As a young girl.
She's only 4 years younger than me. It's fine. Yeah, the Reputation outfit was nice.
I'm with you. She's not ugly, but she's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. So if you're in the toilet for 3 minutes, there's 2 minutes of probably going for a wee.
Biggie,
There's
stop
a
it.
minute of
Stop it. Stop it. None of
Yeah,
that.
use that.
Right.
You can use that for the body art, the pod art, the reputation outfit.
I'm sure I'll remember that. Gadget, save us from Taylor Swift.
Well, I have my own little gig report.
Is it Taylor Swift?
It is not. On Saturday, on the same day he was seeing Taylor Swift, I was also down in the Northwest.
There wasn't another gig on at the same time as Taylor Swift, surely.
Well, you see, Taylor Swift was in Liverpool and completely fucking up the road system around Liverpool. But what was completely fucking up the road system around Manchester was the return of the Foo Fighters.
Uh-huh.
Their second UK
Very
gig in
similar
5 years. Obviously their return to the UK following the death of Taylor Hawkins. Mm-hmm. And they were playing their, I think it's Everything or Nothing at All tour. And they also did 3 hours solidly.
Mm-hmm. Is that 30 years of Foo Fighters now? It must be.
Yes, and actually Dave Grohl did make a joke that this is his Eras tour or his Errors tour.
It really is, isn't it?
ERRORS.
He said we should have called this tour the Errors tour.
Yeah.
I bet he's kicking himself. I bet he went off and went, fuck, we should have called it that.
Yeah, they played something off every single one of their albums. And they were fucking brilliant.
You go on your own?
No, me and Pip went. And Pointy Iguana from the Discord.
Lovely, you took Pip. And
I
the
was
reptile.
meant to be going to this. My sister got us tickets, and I said, but it was all down to if Taylor Swift tickets were a no-go, then I was going to go to that with her.
Yeah, they did not quite as many songs as Taylor because they had a couple of longer songs and big kind of band jams. But they did 26 songs in the 3 hours. And some, like, they did all-time classics like All My Life, Allandria, Walk, The Pretender, Monkey Wrench, Everlong, like the ones you would expect. But they also put in some weird ones that you wouldn't expect, like Dave's instrumental that he wrote for the Beaconsfield Miners who were lost in Australia. He did Unconditional, which didn't expect. The Glass, which is off the new album. They did a really nice kind of solo. It was like Dave and the keyboard player doing Times Like These, and it was really soft and emotional. Whenever songs came up that had a kind of connection to Taylor Hawkins, he kind of slowed things down a bit.
That must have been tough.
Well, it was because when he played Under You, that's the one that I think had a bit of a connection to Taylor Hawkins. I can't remember what it was. It was one of the songs he wrote or one of his favourite Foo Fighters songs. But he started to choke up and he was like, forgot the lyrics. He was distracted. He was still playing the guitar and it was like fucking heartbreaking. I think there's still so much pain there for him.
I think I would struggle to see them now, like having seen them a handful of times, always with Taylor. Taylor was such an integral part of the live show that I think now I would struggle emotionally. Not that I don't mean I don't think the show would be as good. I think it would be really hard to watch as a fan.
It's weird because I'd seen them a few times, and obviously with Taylor always as the drummer. Because the first time I'd seen them was when they released One by One. Was that 2003 or 4, somewhere like that? Yeah, it's weird having someone else in the drum kit. But Josh Freese, the new drummer, is a fucking machine. He's insane.
I've mentioned it. I've mentioned it on the podcast. I shared a cigarette with Taylor Hawkins.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nice bloke.
Seemed like a nice bloke. But Dave, I mean, credit to him, Dave Grohl's stamina to keep going for three hours. He's in his mid-50s.
It's unreal, isn't he? Yeah, and he's literally just pelts up and down that stage.
If I didn't know better, I'd swear he was just like running off stage to have a line every time he changed guitar.
Well, I was just going to ask, what's...
I'm pretty sure
is
he's
he
20
still
years
sounding
sober,
still sounding good? Because this
Yeah,
week, me and Noodles were looking at a few TikToks, and the man's only 7 years older than Dave Grohl, but John Bon Jovi were like,
terrible.
He's just gone.
No,
can't do it. He can't do it. He gets the crowd to do most of it, and there's barely a crowd there.
Yeah,
I think what by the end of the stretch,
I love John Bon Jovi.
At the end of the set, I think Dave was struggling a little bit, but I think it's because he just kept pushing harder and harder.
But he screams as well. That's the difference.
But he screams, and also despite the fact he's been a singer for 30 years, I don't think he's actually a particularly quote-unquote good singer. He's not an efficient singer.
No,
he's not a practiced
singer.
one. So he's just shouting a lot.
He's not like fucking Dio, is he? He's not a trained practical singer. He's just a rock singer. He's a drummer, for fuck's sake, guys.
But no, throughout he kept the energy going. Like they closed the set with Everlong, and it was just fucking incredible, as it always is when they close with Everlong.
Do you know my favourite Foo Fighters song is "Learn to Fly," and it's so daft.
Yeah, it's a great little song, isn't it?
I love that song so much. I just love that song, and I've seen them live 3 times, I think. And when the bounce. It's a bouncy gig, is Foo Fighters.
It is.
And as I imagine Taylor Swift's a very bouncy gig. I bet Anfield will fucking fall into bits.
Literally, at one point, I could feel the stands.
I'm going in.
I could feel the stands bouncing under my feet.
When Monkey Wrench kicked off, because he just jumps into the song. The entire audience was just up in sync, like bouncing along to it.
It's good.
I think my favorite song of the night was "Best of You," because
it's a song. It's a
really powerful song. But for those who haven't seen the Foo Fighters, what they like to do a lot is like they'll play like 2/3 of the song, and then they'll have like a stop where Dave will like watch the audience sing the next bit. But it's like the whole band stops. It's not just like with Bon Jovi where he's just holding the mic forward or anything. He just like stops, and
he's barely doing that.
Yeah.
He's just got loads of backing singers.
He just stands there and smiles, and it's the middle section of whoa, that bit, and the look on his face when like fucking 60,000 people in Manchester are shouting that back to him. Even he's
because American fans are terrible. They don't sing around like that.
Yeah,
where he's like stood there and like he actually goes to the mic and goes, "Fucking hell!" Like
yeah.
And then when
the thing is, it can't, like, it doesn't matter how many times you see that happen.
It's got to be
it
impressive.
Still must get you. Yeah, like 60,000 people singing back to you a song that you wrote, and even more so at festivals as well. Because I saw them at Reading a couple of years ago, and you know that whoa for hours afterwards.
Yeah, well,
the entire crowd was still singing.
Well, so "Best of You" was the end of the main set, then they went off and came back for the encore. When they went off from that, the crowd just kept singing that bit for like a good 5 minutes, and like Dave comes back out and says, like, he says something like, "Night 2, I think you might be louder than night 1," because this is the second night they were playing it, and
they always say that.
Yeah, they probably do, but it was such a good gig, and I think that the flip side of like Stig's Taylor Swift experience was the Taylor Swift experience. I'm sure I don't doubt it's an excellent, brilliant show, but it's incredibly rehearsed. Like, Taylor knows exactly where her foot needs to be at every second of that show.
Oh yeah, there's literally parts where she stamps her foot down and something happens underneath her foot on the screen.
Yeah, exactly. So whereas this was like 6 guys on stage running around like idiots, like they're just big fucking kids. And,
I love that. I've seen them like 5 times.
Yeah, and I think, but it's the flip side experience of that where you get this incredibly like machine precise, perfect show, and what you get with Dave Grohl is him running around like a fucking idiot, screaming his lungs out. It was just so fun and cathartic, and because it was at the cricket ground in Manchester, the Old Trafford cricket ground.
Old Trafford, yeah.
There was lots of space to move. Like, we were still quite far back actually, and like
that's where I saw Oasis last time.
I didn't get my ears blown out or anything by the sound system. It was like the crowd. The band were perfectly audible with the crowd. It was just a really fucking good show. And then, like Stig, we got stuck in traffic on the M62 on the way home, and I didn't get home till 3 a.m. He got an hour head start on me.
Do you reckon you two were in the same queue at one point?
Probably. Maybe not. He'll have had an hour head start on me, and I live an hour from him, so we both arrived at home at around the same time.
I mean, we didn't set off till like 11 o'clock.
Yeah, we couldn't get out of Manchester before midnight.
But luckily, I know the way out, the quick way out. So where we were parked at Goodison, and I could see people like trying to pull out the car
that was gross for you.
Onto the main road. So they're trying to pull out onto the main road. And I was like, at Goodison, there's a back entrance, so I just went out of that, went round the estate, and then I got to the junction. Like, it took me like 2 minutes to get there, and everyone's just stuck in traffic on the main road.
Nice.
Here we go, motorway chat, listeners. This
Liverpool
is what we wanted.
Horrendous to get out of there because it is traffic light. Go for like 100 yards. Traffic light. It's just so many traffic lights till you hit the motorway.
These kids were probably fast asleep, weren't they?
Oh yeah, we stopped, got drunk,
Got drunk.
To get a drink and a quick something to eat. Amelia fell asleep halfway through eating her crisps.
Oh.
They were just knackered.
Dad tax?
No, because I didn't realise.
So just
Would have been if I'd have known.
To finish off this and then briefly talk on the other thing that I did. By the time this comes out, the Foo Fighters have 3 shows left in the UK, which would be the 22nd of June at London Stadium, 25th of June at the Principality Stadium in Cardiff, and 27th of June at Villa Park. Go see them if you can, because they're very, very good. And the other thing I want to touch on, I think what Stig mentioned it, House of the Dragon is back. We've seen the first episode came out on Monday. There's not a great deal to talk about it yet, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. The only thing that is that I had to go and read Wikipedia. I had to go and read Wikipedia because I've forgotten kind of who was who and what was going on.
Yeah, they didn't do a catch up, did they?
They did do a recap, and I was like, oh. So I paused it, went onto Wikipedia, and read the last couple of episodes. So
yeah, it picks up, I think, pretty much almost exactly from the end of the first season.
Yeah,
I can't remember what happened.
You're going to have to read up on it because I couldn't.
I'll just rewatch it.
So it's, as is with most things Game of Thrones, the line "Winter is Coming" has arrived. That happens.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yes, they've kept the old theme tune still. New intro though, which I quite like. Rhaenyra is fantastic still. Like Emma Darcy, the Queen. Yeah. There is.
I can't remember.
She doesn't have any lines.
About
she doesn't have any lines for the first. The character, she doesn't have any lines for the first kind of 2 scenes that she's in. But there is so much acting happening there. Emma Darcy, they are fucking brilliant. They really are. So yeah, if you're a fan of the first season, the second season is shaping up to be very good. First episode is out, and I enjoyed it a lot. And it's just nice to have all this high budget stuff back.
I will watch that in 2 months.
You will when it's all out.
Yes.
But you will like it. It is so far in the 1 episode is of the same quality as the first series. The only thing I'm sad about, no Paddy Considine.
Died.
Well, yeah, because he died in the last season.
Spoiler.
Right then, I'll finish us off and then we'll talk about the main thing we've all been doing. Gadget, do you know why I always offer you good things to do, watch, read, and listen to, and it pisses you off?
Yeah.
Got another. Right. So, I'll not tell you what it's called yet, but the crew of a damaged deep space freighter has stranded on a beautiful but dangerous planet.
Oh, God.
This show I have been watching, called Scavenger's Reign, has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 94 user score. It is probably one of the best animated things I've seen on Netflix ever.
Oh, God, it looks so fucking pretty.
It is the most. Basically, the plot is that there's a vessel, a spaceship that's crashed on a planet, and this planet is the most insane thing you've ever seen. It had to be a cartoon because it's the only way they could do it. Like, the planet's psychedelic. Every animal's out to kill you. The crew are clearly not going to be getting saved, and they've got to somehow survive. And most of the show's runtime, there's no dialogue between characters. They're just doing stuff that you don't get explanation as to why they're doing it. Are you looking at the trailer now, Gadget?
I'm just looking at like screenshots of the artwork.
You say it is on Netflix, but it's like a Max original. That's quite good.
Yes, it's on Netflix. It was a HBO Max, but now it's on Netflix.
I will add that.
It is perhaps the most beautiful. Like, did you ever? What was that Natalie Portman sci-fi film that everyone said looked amazing? But it wasn't that good, but looked amazing.
I don't mind it. It's all right.
Imagine if the planet was the whole Annihilation.
Oh, God.
But
fuck you.
In anime form. I'm telling you now, it's blown me away completely. And I can't really describe anything about the plot apart from the ship's crashed and they've got to survive. Because it's just things that happen with the flora and fauna on this little show. They're only like 20-minute episodes.
I've heard good things about it.
It's spellbinding. I get why it's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's just... And it's gone under the radar because it was stuck on HBO Max for so long. And now it's on Netflix.
Netflix either do amazing animation themselves, or they bring
Pick the best.
really good animation to it.
Blue
Yeah.
Eye Samurai.
I cannot imagine anyone that watches one episode of this and thinks, I'm done. Now, some of our listeners are them type of listeners that need explanations on everything. Don't go into this expecting answers. This show is just the spectacle and the mystery. You're supposed to let it envelop you. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to know why something's happening. It's just fucking happening. The first scene you see in this show, it's not really a spoiler, is a man climbing into a beast's vagina to pick up, don't laugh, Candy, to pick up some orbs that can help them glow in the dark so they can see in the dark. It makes no sense
The Saturday
why
Night
you'd
for
know
Biggie,
that. It's just
Standard.
it's just beautiful. It's so ethereal and like it's I've done acid and it's a bit like that. But I don't want that to put you off because it's not just a trip. It's like it makes sense.
I've done
on
acid too. I'm interested.
yeah, it makes sense on that planet. It makes sense. And it's just it feels like it was made in the 70s, the whole show, but when you look at it, it can't have been made in the 70s, but everyone's got like 70s haircut. It's a bit like a Nostromo type ship and stuff like
fuck
that.
off.
It's just an amazing show. And like Stig
Yeah, I'll
says,
watch it now.
Netflix are just bringing stuff that just like, you little fuckers, you little bitches, I can't believe you've done this to me. But I know, Gadget, you're going to message me in a few days' time going,
I've got things
I'm
to
in
do,
love.
man.
I know, but you'll all love it. Candy, you will
That
love it.
fucking
I'm
game I
watching the
talked about
trailer now.
last
and It's incredible.
that game I
You'll
talked
be
about
wanting to
last week,
tattoo shit.
Children of the Sun. I found out
Yeah.
about that game by listening to Pixel Lit, which you fucking put me on.
Yeah, Pixel Lit's amazing. It's just, what I keep doing lately is finding these like niche little things just because I don't know about you guys, but I get right underwhelmed when people big stuff up that much, and you know these mainstream things, and you watch it and you're like, okay, do you know what I mean? It's like, okay,
Yeah, because
sure.
you're like, I only got to watch 2 episodes of Arcane. Fuck off. Watch the rest of it. It's incredible.
Succession.
Did it get completely 100% on Rotten Tomatoes? Arcane.
Don't know. Did it? It's pretty high, like.
Probably would have been pretty high, I think.
But this
Yeah, it
Scavengers- Did it? That's fine. I'll watch it then.
96% audience, 100% Rotten Tomatoes,
That's
by
badass,
critics.
That's
It's incredible. Like episode 3 is where it really kicks off.
I just
That's
wish
it.
it didn't have that
You haven't
music.
got-
But we're not talking about Arcane again for
I
the
know, but
900th
I'm
time.
telling you to watch something. You got to watch that. Everyone has to watch that.
Everyone has to watch Scavenger's Reign.
I will do. Once One Punch Man's out,
Blue Eye
I'll finish.
Samurai.
I'll get on that.
I've seen Blue Eyed Samurai. It's good. It's great.
See
But yeah, that's. I just wanted to mention because I want our listeners to. I want you to get back. I want some of our regular listeners to be like to tell me what they thought of it because it'll be out of a lot of people's comfort zones as a cartoon animation type thing, and I want to see how people react. You know, people like friend of the show, Planty. I want to know Planty's views on it because I know he's quite a cinemaphile like we are. Obviously, his podcast does allude to that. I want to see what people think of it because I was watching it and it's like I'm screaming at the screen like, look at that! And I had no one to share it with because no one knows it exists. Apart from everyone that listens to this now. But the main thing we've done this week, a few of us have started, it's back. The Boys season 4 is back, baby. Who's watched all 3 episodes?
Yep.
Me.
Of course.
Me. Stig, you not even touched it at all yet?
I had a chance. Came out on Friday and we were away all weekend, and then Kate was at
Yeah,
work
that's
last
true.
night. So
Or do you watch it with her?
yeah,
Fair enough. Now there's a lot of political discourse online at the moment. People absolutely review bombing it because people have finally realised who the bad guys are in this show, and it's hilarious. It's so fucking hilarious.
I mean, even by the boys' standards, they've kind of thrown subtlety out the window this season.
Yeah. He's a baddie. She's a baddie. They're baddies. Yeah, it's and someone mentioning. I saw online that Frenchie's gay now. Like, no, Frenchie's always been the bisexual man. He's always been
Established
sexually
way
fluid.
back.
On the second episode, which he came, the first time you saw him, they mention it. Let me just put the record straight. The Boys season 4 isn't as good as season 2 and season 3 so far, but it's still great. The Boys.
I'm interested to see
still...
what they're building to, because like by the time you got to this point in season 3, we were already getting like the hints that Soldier Boy was coming.
Yeah, I still think, I know people disagree, I think season 3 is their best season.
I agree.
Season 2's amazing. Season 1, we're getting used to everyone, aren't we? We don't know who's who and what's what. And like Homelander, for instance, doesn't speak that much until the final few episodes. But season 2 and 3, the pace, the clip. Remember the fucking second episode of season 2 with the whale? You know what I mean? That's a spectacle you leave for a final episode, but they just still did it. And then in season 3 with Herogasm and the showdown there, just absolute moment. And then Soldier Boy's reveal. You know, it's just absolute moment. But this is all I'm going to say is the ice rink scene is brilliant. So far. And
even before it kicks off the ice rink scene, I fucking love. I love the Vought on Ice Christmas song. Put the Christ back in Christmas.
So funny.
But it's like they finally started admitting that like Homelander's racist. He's a misogynist. He's a bigot. He's an absolute fascist. And this is what's hilarious. And this is what the showrunners wanted. In real life, people are now saying, "Wait, so they've made Homelander a fascist?" I'm like, have you not seen what we've been seeing? Have you not been watching the same thing that we've been watching?
It's crazy, isn't it?
He's the bad guy.
Do you know what? I haven't done a rewatch of The Boys. I should probably do that again.
It holds up, mate. I watched it beginning of this year, the whole thing again. I just can't believe. How could you not?
I've read the comics.
Yes, the first few episodes of The Boys, you think Homelander's some kind of mythical god, but remember in that first season, the airplane incident happens.
Mm.
Yeah.
How can you not know what he is after that?
Yeah.
Up until then, you don't know.
Yeah.
But after that, how can you not know?
Homelander's he's written so well, though, isn't he? Because even though he is an
you can love
bastard,
the character.
He's an absolute bastard, but at the same time, you're like, he is so pathetic. Like that.
You feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. You're allowed to feel sorry for him. That's how they make that character shine.
I love that they've canonized the fact that he wears a muscle suit now.
Yeah. He wears them. Yeah, he does. Yeah. What's the new character they've introduced? The new member of the Seven.
Firecracker.
There's Firecracker and Sister Sage.
Sister Sage. I really like Firecracker because she is literally the people I argue with on TikTok every single day.
She is literally putting out Alex Jones stuff. Like they've just ripped half her dialogue from InfoWars.
She's like Alexis Jones, isn't she?
Yeah.
That's what she is.
I also love the fact that when little bit spoilery, but when Sister Sage questions her on it, and she knows what she's saying is bullshit.
Yeah, she doesn't believe it.
No.
Yeah. I agree. I think most of them people, like, I get a lot of people on my TikTok at the moment, like Gadget knows, the reformers, we like to call them. They've been griefing me non-stop, but I don't believe that half of them believe in what they think they believe in. Do you know what I mean? And that's what she's saying. And now I've seen people on Twitter already saying, "Oh, Firecracker, she's great. What's wrong with her politics?" I'm like, are you fucking mental?
The new version of Black Noir is cracking me up.
Black Noir's hilarious. Yeah, he's talking now.
Yeah,
it's funny.
I also love. I love that we're getting a bit more of Deep.
Yeah, like Deep is my favourite villain in this.
But you see, I still don't buy.
Is he a villain?
Yeah, I don't buy the idea that Deep is a villain.
He's just dumb.
He's just a dickhead.
Yeah, he's a fucking idiot that's done terrible things. But I don't necessarily think he's a bad guy, if that makes sense.
He's just an idiot.
He's a hanger-on, isn't he?
Yeah.
I've discussed it with a few people. I think he's going to be the leader of the Seven by the end of this, which is just going to be hilarious. Like an idiot king on top.
Yeah.
I just think it'll be so funny.
Chase
Crawford that plays him's brilliant.
Oh, he's so fucking. I love that they're putting his outtakes on TikTok as well now.
Yeah, he's so.
When he's doing Deep moments with Deep.
Because he is nothing like him at all in real life. He is
such a nice,
acting.
affable bloke.
Yeah, he's pure. But Anthony Starr's he's not even American, for God's sake. You know what I mean? They're all.
Anthony Starr's continuing to carry the show on his shoulders, though. Like his acting is still off the fucking charts.
Mm.
Yeah, he's really. I just really like what's happening, and I like Frenchie's getting more time in this because Frenchie's also one of my favorite characters from the books as well.
I'm liking that
It's
Starlight's getting less time because I'm finding her character grating in this one.
I think that's the point, isn't it? I think we're actually
you're not
getting a
supposed to
bit
like
more
her.
we're getting a bit more of her background, and actually, like, she's not the squeaky clean
Yeah, she's a
American
bully.
gal we're supposed to. Yeah.
No.
So I think that
I was surprised with Jeffrey Dean Morgan's introduction. I was expecting him to be a superhero
No,
or something.
he's going to be in the spin-off, mate. They're going to make a new spin-off with him and his team.
I must admit I was expecting more, but then we're only 3 episodes in.
Yeah.
Kind of.
So anything could happen with this show.
It might also just be biased with the things I've seen Jeffrey Dean Morgan in, but I'm expecting him to betray somebody. He seems to get a lot of roles where he betrays people.
Yeah, he does. But yeah, I just think it's on top form, and people are critics. Some critics are really like it's already lost steam. I'm like, what? I don't think it has personally.
I think it has.
I think it's not as good.
Yeah, it's
But
not
lost
resonating
steam,
with me
losing
as
steam, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's not resonating with me as much, but until now it's got better and better and better. There was always going to be a point where, this season's not so good, but then it's only 3 episodes in. And I think for me, like some of the jokes getting a little bit tired, like Butcher coming in, all right, you cunts. It's like, well, we've seen that before.
Yeah, we've heard
I must say there was a
fucking
scene
diabolical.
as well. There was a scene in episode 2, I think, in the sauna. That I found
Loved it.
so disgusting. I cannot get past it. Like, all I think
The
of with
pink
this new
eye scene.
series- Yeah, all I
There's-
think
there's
of with this new series, I keep going back to that, and it makes me want to vom. Like, even more so than the first episode of season 3.
If you go back to that scene on Bring Up the X-Ray on Amazon Prime, where it brings up all the actors and like fun facts.
Is it all him?
No, the little fact that go in that is it gives the actor's name and says, "This actor is a Shakespearean trained actor." We didn't have to say this. We just thought it would be nice.
I'll take your word for it, because I am never ever going back to that scene. I want to erase it from my memory.
That's
Exactly what my daughter said when I showed her the dolphin scene on season 1.
There's been some of like the close to the knuckle jokes have been really fun. There's one that Firecracker says where she's spouting off some kind of Bible-y bollocks, and she says something from the Old Testament, and she says something along the lines of, says, "I know that's from the Jewish bit of the Bible, but it's fine."
Yeah.
I was just like, "Oh
It's
my
fine.
God, why would you say that?" That's
Yeah, from the Old Testament.
yeah.
It's just
fucking hell.
I think that the review bombers are bombing it because they thought that this show was something it's not, and the whole thing,
Which is
just,
insane in itself.
yeah, the whole thing, even the book, the whole thing is a critique on Western culture,
Yeah.
and they don't see that. It's brilliant.
This is definitely the season where they've really kind of hammered it straight into people's faces that we are taking the piss out of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
And you guys review bombing it. They even have review bombing in the show.
they do.
Do you know what I mean? It's so fucking clever, man. But I think it's brilliant, and it comes out every Thursday, and I'm just looking forward to it so much.
Yeah. No, I'm into it. I can't wait to see where the season goes.
Yeah, me too. Right, Stig, you can come back. He's probably listened to Taylor Swift. Excellent. So, speaking of the boys, have the boys written in with any feedback?
Several boys have written in. Mike Holster said, "This week's been really busy, but I finally made it to Act 3 of Baldur's Gate 3. I
Same.
finished the Rendezvous with Rama audiobook, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and now I'm 6 chapters into Project Hail Mary and loving it so far.
Great book.
Nice.
Me and Beck watched Hitman,
I watched that as well.
and I thought it was great, really funny, and for once neither of us predicted the ending. Do you guys have any other audiobook recommendations, as I have a credit and I've enjoyed all your other recommendations?"
I do. Mike, you might not be into this, but it's probably my favourite audiobook I've ever read. I've ever listened to. It's Homo Sapiens, Yuval Noah Harari. It's not a story. It's a factual book about it's like a brief history of humanity, and it's probably the best audiobook I've ever listened to.
Yeah, fuck that. Lies of Loch Lamora.
Lies of Loch Lamora, yep.
Fucking wizards.
14 by
nerds.
Peter Clines is one of my favourites. If you like something like a little bit Twilight Zone-y.
No,
I will
Candy.
say-
We know your favourite audiobook is Ready Player 2 by Ernest Cline.
No! That's not a thing that exists.
I will say, if you like audiobooks, you might save yourself a bit of money by if you already have a Spotify account by just upgrading to premium.
Yeah, there's a few on there.
Because there's a shitload on there now.
Yeah, I listen to a few on there now. I don't even have Audible anymore.
No,
use that.
I got rid of Audible because there's so many on Spotify.
There's loads.
If you already have a Spotify account, for a couple of quid more, go premium, and you're saving yourself a bit of money, and you've got access to a load of.
I had premium anyway because every speaker in this house is linked to Spotify. Because I always have to have my music.
I had premium because I was sick of everyone.
Always.
I was sick of always taking mine off me when I'm listening to
Yeah,
me.
me too, mate.
So.
I mean, especially on the commute. I'm like, if I happen to listen to Olivia Rodrigo at another time while I'm in the middle of Slaughter to Prevail, I'll kick off.
Speaking of that, I was going to say after I'd had a big Swift weekend, I've been smashing Slaughter to Prevail today.
So good, they're so good.
Oh.
That's exactly how he sounds.
I don't know how he makes those noises.
He's got a double larynx.
I watched that interview where he's talking about how he did it. I also saw a video of him when he was a really young little Alex Terrible.
Yeah.
Struggling and like coughing his way through and like just figuring out how.
He wasn't even muscly either, was he?
No.
Another just one other audiobook recommendation that I think you'd like, Mike, because I know you like slightly funny books as well. Try We'll Save the Galaxy for Food by Yahtzee Croshaw, because his books are great.
There you go. So many recommendations.
Yes. Next up, Kieran's been on. He says, hello, folks. I humbly request your forgiveness as I haven't listened to episode 189 yet, which is last week's one. But I'll get onto it soon. I've recently watched Eric on Netflix, which I can see you covered, so I'll look forward to hearing your thoughts on that. There's a theme this week. I've decided to dive back into Baldur's Gate 3. I previously got a chunk of the way into Act 1, but the difficulty / my ineptitude caused me to bounce off it. But after hearing Biggie talk about it again recently, I've decided to have another attempt. Basically, he's saying if Biggie can do it, I can fucking do it.
I'm with Kieran. When I first played Baldur's Gate, I found it difficult as fuck.
Well, he goes on to say, I rolled a new character and took a new trajectory through Act 1, and I'm hooked again. I played for 5 hours yesterday and packed it in shortly after meeting Karlach, who might be my favourite character already. Move over Shadowheart.
She's amazing.
Right.
Other than Eric and One Punch Man Season 2, I've been watching Louder Milk, which I'm not sure I'd heard you guys talk about, although it's got a few seasons out now, so maybe I just missed it. This one is a real mixed bag to me. It stars a great, it's that guy, Ron Livingston. You know, that guy from Office Space.
Yep.
It packs a decent amount of laughs, but certain subjects are handled a bit cack-handedly, and there's a mistaken identity type farcical through line in season 1 that's been getting on my nerves enough to skip to the next episode at least once. I think I'll stick with it, perhaps trying to take it a little less seriously, but if any of you have watched it, I'd be interested to know what you reckon. Hope you're all good and ready for the Elden Ring DLC, which will no doubt be several months late too.
I'll have it finished by Sunday.
Fuck off.
I've tapped out. Tried to go back. I'm like, nah.
Not for everyone, pal.
I've played
That's what that is.
55 hours
Skill
of it.
issue.
I just can't be asked anymore.
So, today via Patreon, I announced that Scorched Sheep is coming back on the 5th of July.
What?
Yeah.
Is
I've heard that's good.
Yeah, and then
right.
after we finish this campaign, I'm doing 2 one-shots that the audience can get involved with if they want to have a try playing things. One of them is
I'm not playing with Scrubbers, mate.
One of them is a return to Alien RPG.
Okay, as long as Jack can come back.
Well, get onto that in a second. And the other one is Dark Souls RPG.
Biggie'll die.
So, Jack Chambers Ward,
Standard.
in reference to this announcement, fed back, I don't know if Biggie would allow it, but I would love to play with you guys again.
Yeah, I didn't even know he'd messaged us, but yes, Jack,
And,
you're in.
and maybe I can...
Can we vote on that, please?
Maybe I can claim the fact that I killed Biggie in Alien and in Lordran.
Yes, Jack's in. Jack is in like Flynn. He's in both. He can do both.
So yes, so
what a claim to fame.
So yeah, look out for those later this year. Once the Scorched Sheep first campaign is completed, we've got just to basically give me enough time to set up for the second campaign. We're doing 2 of these one shots. First one will be Alien: Heart of Darkness. And the second one will be a custom one I'm writing in Lordran, in Dark Souls RPG, where I'm going to send you on a little bit of a wander through one of the game's maps.
Are you going to start with yes, indeed?
I'm going to be practicing my ke laugh.
Yeah, every time anyone talks.
But my concept for that one is that it'll be one of the areas from the game, possibly, maybe Blighttown, I don't know, depending on how cruel I am to you. But it will be as the dark sign is spreading and you're all starting to hollow. So you have a kind of race to the end and you'll have to fight one of the bosses from the game.
Biggie understands what that is.
But you'll have to beat it before you go hollow.
Yeah. Easy, I'll platinum it.
But yeah, so that's coming up. So yeah, if you want to get involved with either of those, open casting call for it, just fire us a message on the website or scorcheap@gmail.com and I'll do a draw.
We do accept bribes as well.
We do accept bribes.
Oh, I can delete Jack's application.
Well, you can't because
no.
you don't have access to the Scorcheap mailbox.
Yeah, deliberately.
Fuck.
Lee Davies has said, hello there.
Hello there.
I've been doing little bits recently, but nothing of much importance. Mostly I've been playing Elden Ring, getting up to where I need for the DLC.
Me too, mate.
It's a new game plus playthrough, so I expect when I play the DLC, it'll be harder than if it was a first playthrough. Lucky me. I'm sure it'll be fine. I also listened to that Operation Hail Mary, Project Hail Mary, audiobook that Gadget recommended. Really enjoyed that, so thanks for bringing it to my attention. You see, we know our shit. And also, technically, Candy brought it to everyone's attention. She read it. She listened to it.
I did.
Just getting
Thank you for
first
pointing that out.
Candy pointed it out to me. I then pointed it out to other people. Candy's the progenitor of this
you're louder.
recommendation.
Because you're louder than her, that's why.
He explains things much better than I do. I'll accept that.
I do good word speaky. Xenos has said, this week I've been playing a lot of Destiny. I won't bore you with the exact details, but suffice to say...
Thank God.
Suffice to
I'm
say
only joking, mate.
Suffice to say, we've cleared the new raid only a week after it opened, and it was fucking rough. It's one of the coolest raids we've had so far and has some absolutely bizarre mechanics. One of my friends got us all killed by putting on a different hat partway through. See, hats are lethal in this game. Not just because of the stats, but because we couldn't tell which statue in the room was him anymore. Huh? Outside of that, how about that football, eh? Problem is they always try to walk it in. I'm not fooling anyone with that, am I?
Coming home.
Oh, well, I'm posting this before the Nintendo Direct hits this afternoon, so if this bit is still here, I forgot to come back and edit it after watching that.
Is that Xenos that wrote in?
Yeah.
He was as excited as I was on that Direct.
Okay,
We were talking to each other. We were both buzzing our little chops off.
And last up, Best Boy Angry Curtis said, other than indulging myself on the Euros, this week I finished Tunic. Not much more to add, but I enjoyed it overall. A bit too hard in places, but it was a cool Soul/Zelda type adventure. I'm glad I didn't let it pass me by. I've now moved on to Paper Mario, the Thousand Year Door remake. I was a bit concerned how I would take to it, given I thought the Mario RPG remake I played last year was merely okay. But I can already tell this is a step up, particularly with the puzzles and the turn-based battle system, which looks to have more depth to it. I also hear it's longer than Mario RPG, which is a concern, given I was starting to get bored by the end of it. But given that this is seen as a better game by Nintendo fans, I think and hope it should remain good throughout.
I've not played the remake, but the original's fucking brilliant.
Film-wise, I watch Ad Astra in preparation for an upcoming Backpage podcast episode where they're covering the double bill of Ad Astra and The Right Stuff.
That bloody podcast gets mentioned every week.
Ad Astra was okay. It looks gorgeous and the story is pretty cool, but it's quite dull in parts where Brad Pitt is just floating around not doing much. He's also pretty one-note throughout in terms of his acting.
That's the first thing I said when I watched that Astra. I'm like, it's one note, this. It's a bit one note.
Does he bool around on the moon in a moon buggy with a gun?
Yeah, but that was the best bit. I wanted more moon pirates.
That's the best bit. Yeah, that's the best bit when the little shootout in the buggies, and then he goes and finds his dad. I can't remember that. I know.
Just watch Moon. Moon is a much better film.
Oh God, Sammy Rockwell, let's go.
You can even forgive the fact that Kevin Spacey's voice is in it.
Yeah, fuck it. Who cares? It's got Sammy in it. Don't matter.
Finally, I finished off the Mad Max Fury Road book and I've moved on to another Japanese book. I tend to go for Japanese crime thrillers, but this isn't that. In fact, I don't really know what it is, so I'll just share the blurb. Quote, 1985. Kazumasa Yuki, that's Y-U-U-K-I, so Yuki.
Where's she from? Newcastle.
A seasoned reporter of the North Kanto Times runs a daily gauntlet of the power struggles and office politics that plague its newsroom. But when an air disaster of unprecedented scale occurs on the paper's doorstep, its staff is united by an unimaginable horror and a once-in-a-lifetime scoop. 2003, 17 years later, Yuki remembers the adrenaline-fueled, emotionally charged 7 days that changed his and his colleagues' lives. He does so while making good on a promise that he made that fateful week, one that holds the key to its last solved mystery and represents Yuki's final, unconquered fear. End quote. Whatever it is, I'm absolutely hooked by it.
I don't like crime books, but I appreciate it.
I tell you,
They're great.
if you like Japanese books, Kurt, I'm sorry that I'm recommending this to you because I found it a struggle. Try reading
Watch the film Legend of the Overfiend.
No. Try reading the novel that Parasite Eve was based on.
No, don't do that.
The problem is, it's an interesting story, but the writer was terrible.
Don't do that then.
It's all about mitochondria and stuff, isn't it? And blood.
Well, it is the powerhouse of the cell.
It is, mate. It really is. Fucking don't listen to him. Fucking hell. Silly man.
Xenos did edit his post.
Oh, okay. That's Biggie's fault then.
Yeah. He says,
Oh no, the email comes in. I put it in. What do you want me to do?
go back and look.
Why?
He even says in his
Leave
email.
this in.
Anyway,
I don't read
literal
them all, I just
today's news.
copy
Watch
and paste and
Nintendo
put them in.
Direct. New Mario and Luigi RPG looks good. New Zelda game where we play Zelda looks fantastic, and finally has a chance to break the CDI curse of all the games where you play Zelda being terrible. Metroid Prime 4 coming next year. Those graphics, which I don't think can reasonably be running on a current Switch hardware, meaning this looks likely they're doing a Breath of the Wild, dropping it on next gen of the Switch as well. That's what we said earlier.
Yep.
Psylocke, my favourite character from Metroid Prime Hunters, really is back after the secret ending cutscene of Other M, and has taken the space pirates, and they have Metroids with them that aren't eating them, or the pirates, despite the notorious impossibility of taming those, I can be trusted to be extremely normal about this. I can be trusted to... Why do I have to wait for the next year? God damn it.
He's gagging.
I'm going to start posting fake news stories in just to see if Biggie posts them without even looking them up.
Yeah, it'll be like, and sadly, Donald Trump's
I like
passed
you did
away
at the
this week.
podcast when the alien penises were touching.
Yeah.
What?
When we did our...
You edited the document.
when we did our greatest films, Biggie had like everything like prepared on his laptop. So I
did read it actually before I said it. But I thought I'd
his
say it anyway.
notes and he
Funny.
read through them.
That's funny. Excellent. As always, links to all our extracurricular activities are in our show notes and at modernescapism.co.uk. Please consider becoming a patron because we've got lots of stuff out. Modern Escapism, man, it's cooking on gas. I have not dreamt this. We have done the third film, haven't we? I ain't dreamed this.
Yeah, I
discussed
just
it,
wasn't on it.
Gadget wasn't there.
Yeah,
slagged him off for 2 hours.
Because when we recorded it, I had a chance to edit and put it out, but it won't
I just don't know if I'd
out
imagine it.
soon.
You know what my brain's like. But yeah, we're 3 deep in that, and it's still the majority left. That's what's worrying about that one. There's still more left. It's a great little show that we're doing about the X-Men. We've got Kenny Potter, the whole series of Kenny Potters out there, and it was an emotional roller coaster for everyone involved. We've got Too Faff, Too Curious, still the record-breaking ongoing show in podcasting. Not finished. Please consider it because it's been nice, and we do a monthly podcast every month, which is daft and silly, and we argue and we shout and we scream and we kiss. But this is usually where we end the show. But before that, we annoy people. We make people scratch their heads in disbelief. But we do leave them with Candyland.
And now, what's up in Candyland?
Disclaimer: Candyland is not always meant to be taken seriously.
You've had some feedback this week, haven't you?
I have.
Please see a doctor if you have taken paracetamol ibuprofen.
If you start immediately shitting yourself to death. Sorry about this one, Gadget. It's a bit spidery.
Oh,
Because
fuck's
I was
sake.
thinking the other right. You know them big fuckers. and you see them running, but you don't really see their legs. You see the bodies, and until they stop, you don't know how big they are. And then they stop, and they're like fucking umbrellas, gigantic. But that made me think, like, how many frames per second do you think spiders' legs run at? And I was like, well, how many frames
60.
per second do we actually see? So that sent me down a rabbit hole. Apparently, most humans see between about 25 frames per second and 60 frames per second.
No, they fucking don't.
Yeah,
I'm
they
not
do.
having that.
It says on the internet.
No,
What about us? What about
I
us
read
blind
it.
bastards with glasses on?
I read it.
On Reddit.
I read it. It must be true.
She read it on Reddit.
That is not fucking true.
It's fucking true. But it was saying, like, the
Humans
more...
can see up to 500 hertz. That's
I don't know
500
what
frames a second.
I don't know what hurt. No, it said it's right. Hang on, I'm gonna
No,
go.
I
on.
thought we saw more than
Healthline.com
much.
says between 30 and 60 frames a second.
What on earth is Houseline? Who knows? How many FPS does
Don't
the
destroy.
human see? Right, here we go.
I'm not having this.
Gadget, with
Kicking off
facts.
here.
We don't need facts
Right.
in Candyland.
And this is from Healthline. Some experts will tell you that the human eye can see between 30 and 60 frames per second. Some maintain that it's not really possible for the human eye to perceive more than 60 frames per second.
I've played 90 frames per second games and I've perceived it.
Well, this is the thing. Like, why if you can only see up to 60 frames per second, why are we trying to do like 120 frames per second?
Because you can see it.
Yeah, but then that takes me back to the original point. How many frames per second do you think spider legs are moving at? Because we can't perceive. I don't think anyone can really see a spider leg.
80. 10 frames per leg.
What? Yeah, that's maths. I get what you're saying. Like, I mean, what resolution is a spider in? First off, is it in quality mode or is it in performance mode?
I would say quality mode.
Quality mode. So it's 30 frames, isn't it? That spider.
Yeah, but that's why you can't see the. Well, then, yeah, its legs are going like the fucking clappers, aren't they?
I mean, have you? What was that?
She's a lady.
She's a pig.
Apologies.
It
was the fear.
It's common knowledge. I used to have a tarantula as a kid. I had a pet tarantula. Gadget hates the fact that I had that. A blue cobalt tarantula it was.
I just hate you by proxy because of that.
He must have run at about 2 frames per second.
They don't move
like
fast, do they, tarantulas?
No, he
I'm
was
not
like a
as I'm not
turtle.
as afraid of tarantulas as
They're
they
like
are.
looking cool.
He was cool. He had blue stripes on his legs. He was beautiful. He was furry like a puppy.
No.
You'd have liked him, Gadget. You'd have liked him. He had one little leg compared to his other legs. He had a gammy leg. You'd have liked him. You'd have liked him. He used to sit on your head all day watching telly. Gadget doesn't like that, does he?
It's the thin, fast ones. They're the worst.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's the house spider. I don't think I'd be as afraid of spiders if it weren't for those big house spiders.
it's the wolf spiders that you get in North America that are the worst that jump at you.
The house spider ones, they're the ones that look like the fucking things, the face huggers from Alien, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. Candy, take away your fucking Healthline website, which is clearly a fucking blog
It's been
of some
doing
kind.
research.
I've been doing research. National Library of Medicine, the National Center for Biotechnology Information from America. Published
Uh-oh.
2015.
Pinch of salt.
Published online February 3rd, 2015. This is a paper. There is a fucking PMC number with it. Humans perceive flicker artifacts at 500 hertz.
I don't know what that
That's
means.
500 frames per second, isn't it?
That means we can perceive light changing at 500 times a second.
Yeah. Candy, your maths were way off.
I don't do maths. But I've just read on NAB Amplify. In short, he sums up the human eye does not have a frame rate.
Of course it doesn't have a frame rate. It's not rendering things. Jesus fucking...
Need to update to Windows 11, apparently.
Oh, God, this is so fucking funny.
Candy, when I see you, I'm
going
to slap you with ray tracing added to it.
Do you know what? Patron,
frame
patrons,
generation.
We're gonna put Candyland as well as just chatting in your little vote every month, just as if you want a full 2 hours of Candyland.
I'd be up for it.
Gosh, it's fucking.
There's
Thank
somebody here has asked what FPS does real life run at.
you. FPS.
Some
It
maintain
doesn't
that it's
really,
not
though,
really
does it?
possible for the human eye to perceive more than 60 frames per second. That might make you wonder why video games developers are making increasingly elaborate games, including virtual reality games, with a much higher frame rate. See? It says on Reddit.
See, Gadget, it says on Reddit.
Yeah, Reddit, that source of knowledgeable information. I mean, the fact is for VR to be smooth, if you want to use a VR headset, it's got to run at 90 hertz per eye. So that's 90 frames a second.
Let's just agree to disagree.
Right, I'm nipping this in bud. We can continue this if we need to in the agreement. For everyone else, if you're not a patron, this is the end of the show. Sorry for angering you, but we'll see you next week. Bye.
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 Anyway, let's do a podcast. Are you ready?
Yes, let's do a Tuesday
There are no
podcast.
clean... Oh. We're going for it then.